Mercy Park. Kevin Brown, Tom Luginbill, Paul Carcaterra with you. Some of the best stories we've seen all year in sports in this game. West Florida's second season of football ever. They're in the national championship game, and they'll play Luis Perez's Lions. Perez, the best quarterback in Division II. He did not play a down of high school football. We've got so much to get into in this game, Tom Luginbill, with the national championship on the line.
Great storylines, and let's not forget, too, how hard it is to win a championship at any level, Kevin. To win a championship and have to go through the playoff gauntlet that you do at the Division II level, it's astounding.
West Florida won the toss and will kick to Texas A&M. Austin Williams pops it up, and this is in a no-man's land here, and will roll inside the 5 and be fielded there by Dominique Ramsey. Outstanding coverage by West Florida. Horrible field position for Commerce inside its own 5 for Luis Perez.
My heart was more to bowling, so that's the route I took. It was the last home game. I'm sitting in the stands, and I'm like, holy cow, what am I doing? And that was really the moment that sparked everything to make my decision to start playing football.
His ceiling is a lot higher than a lot of other players. I think he's got a chance to play for several years.
Luis Perez, the winner of the Harlan Hill Award, the best player in Division II. He bowled in high school, did not play a down of high school football. Here he is in the national championship game and handing it off to Carandall Hale, who gains 8 on the opening play.
Now, Kevin, think of what an accomplishment that is. You do not play high school football. You walk on at Southwest Junior College in San Diego. You're about 9 deep on the depth chart. Lo and behold, you find yourself here, the Harlan Hill Trophy winner, and playing for a national championship.
Division II leader in touchdown passes and yards, and Perez looks to throw for the first time, but a flag will stop the play. We'll hear from Dwight Niebling, our referee tonight.
Ball starts. Number 15, offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's on the tight end, Vincent Hobbs. Kevin, getting a little antsy. You referenced the field position to start this drive. Not a wise decision to field that kick and bring it out of the end zone. And now you find yourself in really second and medium right here for Luis Perez and this Texas A&M Commerce offense.
Lions team 13-1 out of the Lone Star Conference. They average just over 37 points per game. Right back on the ground for A&M Commerce, and another strong run for Hale, the redshirt freshman out of Greenville, Texas. And that is enough for a Texas A&M Commerce first down.
And that's going to be a rare ground handoff you'll see out of this offense. This offense is run first, pass third, predominantly as a philosophy. So if they can get some early yards on early downs on the ground, they might change their philosophy a little bit here offensively.
Perez will fake the handoff here, under pressure, and dump it off to Hale out of the flats. And Carandall Hale stumbles across the 20-yard line, enough for an A&M Commerce first down.
Tell you, Luis Perez here under duress, pressure by John Williamson, number 30. And Perez doing a nice job to keep his eyes downfield, not focus at the rush, and just get the ball off. Avoid a big negative play there and convert the yard to gain and get a first down.
6'3", 220 pounds, the senior from San Diego, California. Here at A&M Commerce by way of Southwestern Junior College. Zips one to Vincent Hobbs, his tight end, and this is a game-breaking young man. Vincent Hobbs lowering his shoulder and finally out of bounds across midfield.
Look at the big H-back. They call him an A-back in this offense. He's their movement guy. Got a missed tackle on defense, and he is a big, lumbering H-back, about 255 pounds. He is a load to bring down in the open field, a transfer from Louisiana Monroe.
And began his career at the University of Colorado as well. Well-traveled, talented, physical player. One of many transfers here for these teams in the Division II level. Perez with a clean pocket, nowhere to throw. And he will just flip it out of bounds. Jonathan Coleman got the pressure for West Florida.
For intentional grounding, passes out of the tackle box. The pass crossed the line of scrimmage. Second down.
I hear from Dwight Niebling why that's not an intentional grounding.
Well, I'll tell you, for this defense for West Florida, they have got to apply pressure on Luis Perez. If you let him sit back like that, these weapons and these targets for the Lions, they're going to get open vertically.
Here's E.J. Thompson with his first handoff. And Thompson loses a yard. The true freshman blown up by Coleman and Cox. Paul Carcaterra, third member of our broadcast crew tonight. Paul, you've got more on Luis Perez.
Well, Jens, you mentioned this kid never played high school football, which is remarkable. He was a bowler, and I spoke to him this week. He wasn't just an ordinary bowler. 12 perfect games, but Luis Perez is the type of kid, when you talk to him, it's infectious. He believes in himself, and when he puts his mind to something, he knows he can accomplish it. He knows also this stage and potentially the next stage, the NFL, because of his dreams, his goals, and the way that he put forth all of those things, sky's the limit for this kid.
That is the dream for him as he hits Sean Hooks, and Hooks is free inside the 15-yard line, and Sean Hooks will dive to the pylon for a Texas A&M Commerce touchdown. For the big play senior on a 3rd and 11.
What a way to cap off that drive, Kevin, when you consider where this drive started inside Texas A&M Commerce's own 5-yard line. Impressive on the ground and through the air balance for the offense for the Lions.
Their last 2 touchdown drives in the semifinal win against Harding were 12 plays for 88 yards and 1 play for 90. This one 7 for 97, and Christoph Martinez adds the extra point.
Sean Hooks on just a little slip screen gets a great block from his teammate Darian Landry, number 3, to spurn him down the sideline. Texas A&M Commerce on the board first here in Kansas City.
You're watching the NCAA Division II Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Kansas City, Kansas, and what a start for Texas A&M Commerce. Tough start for West Florida's defense. A missed tackle for Reggie Barnes and a 50-yard touchdown for Sean Hooks.
Well, you take a look at this right here. They're going to come out and they're going to block the secondary. Excuse me right there. We're going to block the secondary here. These 2 linemen are going to let this defense again go, and they're going to come up to the second level. They're going to throw that, and away we go. Off of the backside handoff, just a little slip tunnel screen. Now they miss an initial block, but watch number 3 right there. That's Darian Landry, and that enables them to get a touchdown, or he may be tackled there on the 15-yard line. Good teamwork down the field. This is a big physical group of wide receivers for Texas A&M Commerce. So not only are they difficult to handle one-on-one in passing downs down the field, they're also going to be aggressive as stock blockers on the perimeter.
Hooks just back from a knee injury, makes his longest catch of the season. Comes in the first drive of the national championship. Christoph Martinez with a kick. And a return for West Florida's Carlos Duclos. Duclos for the West Florida Argonauts out across the 25. West Florida 11-3 on the season. Again, this is their 2nd year of football, period. And a couple of years ago, this young man was the first to fax in that national letter of intent. Mike Beaudry, born in Saskatchewan. Great size, Tom Luginbill, 6'5", 233 for this redshirt freshman.
Yeah, big, strong-armed pocket passer. Not a dynamic athlete. He's going to have to get the ball out of his hands. They've got to be an in-rhythm and timing type of offense. And look for Texas A&M Commerce to get after him early.
This is a team that ran the ball very well last week. They have Chris Schwartz in the backfield to begin the game, but Beaudry will look to throw. Under some pressure, that one is into traffic, and it is incomplete. Garrett Blueball, the linebacker, was in on that play to knock it away from Tate Litio. West Florida offensively at 28.1 points per game, and it's a team that started the season as more of a passing attack, but they ran for more than 200 yards in a win at Indiana, Pennsylvania last week, and they have really turned this season around in part due to a heavier ground game. Beaudry will throw the first 2, though. This is Litio, got a block, and he's out of bounds near the 32-yard line to set up third down. Take a look now at how West Florida plans for success. Luke's brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah, I think the keys for both of these teams, you take a look for West Florida, stop Texas A&M Commerce in their vertical passing game. They love to throw the ball downfield. They want to get explosive plays. You got to limit those. And right now on defense for Texas A&M Commerce, vary the defensive look on rundowns. And you're going to notice that Texas A&M Commerce is going to show West Florida a 5-man box to try to get them to commit to the run and then trigger down their safeties in the box to be able to account for the numbers.
Only one down lineman on this 3rd and 4. Another throw for Beaudry. Zings it to Litio. Third straight target for him, and he is blown up high. Danny Huckabee in on the hit, and a 3-and-out to begin the game, forced by the Lions.
That time a little simulated pressure at the line of scrimmage, and they back off Texas A&M into a 3-man rush. And Beaudry makes the right call just by dropping this ball off, but really good defensive tackle in the open field by Texas A&M Commerce, keeping the ball in front of him. Danny Huckabee, number 6, on the call.
Junior from Mejia, Texas. West Florida will punt with Ray Raffay. This is going to be his first punt of the season. The freshman Colton Norris was inconsistent the last couple of weeks, so Raffay, the transfer from Wyoming, gets off his first collegiate punt in the national championship game. Luis Perez and the Lions back on offense when we return to Kansas City. Home to the American Royal World Series of barbecue. You know what makes it Kansas City style? Those slow smoked spices. You have the sweet molasses style staple sauce.
Isn't that what everybody claims to have with their barbecue?
What's that?
All of the things you just mentioned, regardless of what region you're in.
No, I think the sweetness is the Kansas City.
The sweet Kansas City barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should know. You're a barbecue connoisseur.
I am. I'm a barbecue guy.
Luis Perez 3 for 4, 88 yards and a touchdown on the first drive for A&M Commerce. Perez, the Harlan Hill winner, best player in D2, will throw it to Vincent Hobbs for a gain of about 10.
Barbecue. If I'm not mistaken, I ate by myself today at Arthur Bryant's. I ate some ribs, I ate some burnt ends, and I ate solo.
Thanks for the invite, Cart.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that you went today for the first time.
That is a first down catch for Hobbs, and a pitch to Corandall Hale, who got free of a couple of tackles and gets a yard.
Let me get back to Luis Perez, and we've talked about, if you're just joining us, this is a young man that did not play a down of high school football, chose to go the junior college route, and started off about 9 deep on the depth chart at Southwestern Junior College in San Diego, and was a competitive bowler, has 12 perfect games to his credit. It's just a remarkable story that just never happens.
Hale up the middle to set up third down. I do want to correct one thing you said. You said he was about 9 deep on the depth chart.
Yeah.
He was 9 deep.
He was 9 deep, okay.
Genuinely the 9th guy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And listen, I think the thing to be noted here is playing quarterback or the game of football, it's not like taking up art lessons. You don't just acquire it. It's not something that you just go out and say, well, I'm going to try and do this. It's truly a fantastic story, and as competitive as he is and as dialed in as he is, you just love to see the success that he's had.
3rd and 5 for Perez from West Florida territory. And it's a handoff to Corandall Hale, stumbling forward and slipping through. He looks to have the first down. On an official discussion right now between Dwight Niebling and his crew, and it is enough for a first down.
On the field is a first down.
You see Luis Perez right now too. Lugs, I asked him what he brought from bowling to football. It was the mental approach, and after the snap, I'll give you some more.
Another completion. Keelan Smith ran into his own man Hobbs and lost a yard.
Yeah, what does bowling have to do with football? But mentally, this kid is so sharp, so driven. His dad was a professional soccer player in Mexico, always prepared him for competition, and he meticulously breaks down Aaron Rodgers. You see the number 12 jersey that Perez is wearing. Aaron Rodgers is his idol. He watches every single move Rodgers makes in terms of his footwork, his mechanics, his leadership. Loves Rodgers.
And their coach Colby Carthel yesterday told us it's almost psychotic how much he loves Rodgers. He plays like him, although this is another loss of a yard on the hit to DeArthur Cow.
Yeah, West Florida seems to have an answer for the quick screen game that cost them a touchdown on the opening drive. That time DeArthur Cow tackled for about a 3-yard loss. Cow, the transfer from the University of Arkansas. We talked about these weapons for Texas A&M Commerce. They've got a lot of transfers from four-year universities. They're big, tall, and fast. Very difficult to match up with at the Division II level.
For their top 5 wide receivers in the depth chart transfers, that doesn't include the tight end Hobbs, who's from Colorado and Louisiana Monroe. Perez under duress, and that is off the hands of the freshman Thompson on a 3rd down and 12.
Trent Archie, number 24, number 30, John Williamson on the pressure there with Luis Perez. And again, Luis Perez dumps the ball off. That's a catchable football to get some positive yards. I've been impressed with Perez's ability to avoid negative plays. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't put him in 2nd and 3rd and long. And so, hey, you know what? You want every drive to end with a punt, right? That's okay. Put our defense back on the field.
Tristan Perry will kick it from the Argonaut 45. Or will he? Perry throws it up for grabs. It's intercepted. A fake punt taken away. It's Antoine Griffin for West Florida. Commerce ran a successful fake punt last week. Perry threw it out of his own end zone. This time from around midfield, he is intercepted.
Coach Colby Carthel, Texas A&M Commerce, told us to expect some plays in the kicking game that may be unorthodox. The problem here is this was not read or executed correctly. And sometimes when you do a play like this with a punter or you have a halfback pass, no matter what you tell that individual that's responsible for throwing the ball, if it's not there, don't throw it or throw it away. For whatever reason, they always seem to throw it.
And it's Griffin, their leading wide receiver, with the interception. And that's just like him catching a low punt, basically.
Right, no doubt.
So great field position for West Florida from the 49 of A&M Commerce. Beaudry looking to pass for the 4th consecutive play, and he got it in the area of a receiver with pressure coming. A little bit shy of Karan Ashley. Pressure from big Mike Anoha, the Oklahoma transfer. So again, it is a West Florida program that is not in its 2nd season of Gulf South Conference football. It's not in its 2nd season of just Division II football. It's in its 2nd season of any football.
It's an unbelievable turn of events. When they thought about implementing football in 2011, they weren't even on the field yet. And here they are in 2017 playing for national championship.
Beaudry looking to throw one more time. Zips it up. There's Griffin, the man who had the interception, with a 1st down grab. It was 6 years ago when West Florida decided to publicly announce they were going to sponsor a Division II football program. 3 years later, they hired Pete Schitting, first-year head coach. He built his staff slowly. The program began in 2016, went 5-6. Great year for a first-year program with a win over a ranked team in this season, 7-3 in the regular season. Fastest startup in Division II history to reach the postseason. They have won 4 road games in a row. There's the head coach with his daughter Rachel next to him on the sideline. And it's just a story the likes of which you've probably never seen before. We certainly haven't. 2nd year in the national championship game. Nice stick there by the wide receiving tight end Austin Blake Smith on the 1st down play.
Some hitting going on down here, boys, but Pete Schitting, I spoke to him right before kick. I asked him, what makes you think your team is ready for this moment in year 2? There's 75 sophomores, he said, freshmen, sophomores, juniors. It's all about culture. They've developed culture quicker than he thought they would in regards to just coming together. And he's got the experience too, guys. 7 years at UNC Pembroke. He started the program there. This guy is a program builder.
In the most literal sense of that term. West Florida has not run the ball in the game until now. It is Chris Schwarz. Or a short pickup to set down third and a couple.
You know, you got to love and appreciate coaches' wives anywhere at any level in the game of football. And he had promised his wife, honey, I will not go out, take another job that is a startup. And then the West Florida job came open, and he looked at that footprint for recruiting and the caliber of players that were going to be at their disposal. And he looked at Erin and said, I got to take a look at this one, honey. She supported him. After 7 years in Pembroke, North Carolina, moving down to Pensacola, and here they are in the national championship game with another startup from the ground up.
Third and a short 3. Beaudry, quick hitter, caught across the 30-yard line right near the sticks for Blake Smith. His second grab, and it's enough for a West Florida first down.
Now, I said early coming on that West Florida needed to be a rhythm and timing offense. They are not a quarterback dynamic offense. They don't run, they don't extend plays. They're not going to be a zone read team. The ball needs to come out of Beaudry's hand fast, and he's going to take what that Texas A&M Commerce defense gives him, dink and dunk, and let the receivers do the rest.
From the 27, a little pitch out to Schwarz. Schwarz hit low and upended after a first down pickup of 5. Alex Shiloh, the redshirt freshman safety, in on the hit.
You know, one thing to note about both of these two teams, you know, at the Division II level, you're going to have transfers. You're going to have what we call bounce back guys that went on to four-year institutions, either at the FCS or FBS level. Things didn't work out, and so they come back and they can add not only athleticism, but they can add maturity. It's almost like getting junior college players without recruiting the junior college level.
Beaudry with the play fake on a second down, steps away from pressure, and he will take off himself down to the 18-yard line. Looks to be a yard shy of a first down. Elijah Earls came off the edge, nearly got him, but the big man Beaudry stepped up.
Really good navigation of the pocket there, and really surprising, quite frankly, when you watch these two teams heading into this football game. You didn't see a lot of mobility at the quarterback position for West Florida. So now, instead of having a negative play there, you're in third and short, a manageable down where you can run or throw. Heck of a job by Beaudry there.
And Blake Smith is the H-back. The running back is Chris Schwarz. Instead, it's a throw to Griffin, breaking his way inside across the 5-yard line and ripped out of bounds a couple of yards shy by Dominique Ramsey. What a quarter this has been for Antoine Griffin.
Alex Shiloh, number 10, misses the tackle right there on the perimeter. And what a job by Antoine Griffin to hit top gear. Almost scores, gets inside the 3-yard line. And folks, it doesn't matter what level of football you're watching. Tackling in space in today's game, I don't know why anybody wants to coach defense.
Second team all-conference wide receiver Griffin had the interception on the fake punt to start this drive. Ball is down to the 3. The give is to Chris Schwarz. And he is just a little bit shy of the goal line.
But a really good answer, Kevin, for this West Florida offense. They sputtered early on. I think they needed to settle down. We saw early on in pregame warm-up and during the national anthem, quarterback Mike Beaudry, he was crying. He was visibly emotional, and sometimes as a quarterback you got to manage those emotions. He settled down, he's settled in, and now they're knocking on the door to get some points on the board here.
And they're inside the 1-yard line for a second down and goal. Beaudry will give it right back to Schwarz, following his offensive line into the end zone for a West Florida touchdown. A program that did not exist 2 years ago in a competitive nature has its first points in the national championship.
He's their physical runner. Now, he's not overly dynamic. He's not going to be that guy that's going to break off 40, 50-yard runs and win foot races, but he can push the pile. He's a tough, hard-nosed runner, particularly in short-yardage situations, and that's exactly where they needed him there on 6.
This isn't going to surprise anybody. The folks at West Florida told us his hero is Mike Allstott.
There you go. It makes a lot of sense.
Runs just like him. Austin Williams has tied the game at 7.
They get an interception, which leads to a touchdown for West Florida. A little trickeration gone awry for Texas A&M Commerce. The West Florida Argonauts answer, and we're tied up.
Beautiful field here, Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas, the home of Sporting KC and Major League Soccer. The folks from Pensacola, Florida have come up, seen their West Florida Argonauts, the second-year program, reach the national championship game. Unranked, not even in the Division II top 25. They've won 4 road games to make it to the national title, and they've just tied up Texas A&M Commerce. This is a West Florida team that has had some trouble covering kickoffs this year, but Williams of the Argonauts pinned Commerce at its own 3-yard line to start. This one is fielded at the 1 by Reggie Kincaid, and he will run it out across the 30-yard line and zip past the defender. Reggie Kincaid into the open field. Kincaid across the 20. There he goes. Touchdown, Reggie Kincaid. Breathtaking yards, and Commerce strikes back.
Kevin, I don't think you're getting a Christmas card from Coach Pete Shinnick at West Florida this year. You are no longer allowed to talk about the West Florida kickoff cover unit.
I mean, to go from your own 3 on the first kickoff to scoring on the other. Reggie Kincaid fumbled a kickoff last game, and Commerce was pinned at its own 10. Not so much this time.
Just an impressive, decisive run by Kincaid. And then, you looks like some West Florida defenders in the cover team, they have the angle on him, and Kincaid just turns on the jets, finishes, wins the foot race, and what an answer to a West Florida offensive drive that had taken advantage of a turnover, marches it down and scores, gets momentum back on their sideline, and now the Lions of Texas A&M Commerce answer the bell.
Pete Shinnick looking for answers after that. Kincaid, the junior out of Everman, Florida. He's a track All-American on the 4x100. And Pete Shinnick, the second-year head coach, might remember that one the next time his team kicks it off. What a job, though, he's done. 16-9. That record certainly doesn't reflect what this program has gone through. Hired in February of 2014, and again, his daughter Rachel right next to him. He said she takes notes on everything he says throughout the game. I don't suspect the note that's just been written down is going to be framed on the wall.
No, we asked him, well, what does she actually chart for you? All the mistakes, everything that's bad, pretty much writes that down. I lean over and I tell her, and he goes, I don't cuss. Nobody on our staff cusses, so I'm not worried about what she hears on the sideline.
Both staffs told us that. Coaches don't swear. Maybe that's the secret to playing in the national title game.
No.
You don't think so? I think we should bring that up to the FBS coaches in the college football.
Let's see how that goes over.
Here's a swirling kick, fair caught at the 30-yard line. West Florida will take it over there after the 99-yard touchdown run for Kincaid. Hey, it's bowl season, not just here at the Division II level. Postseason football happening at the FBS level. And Tuesday, we've got a fun one with Lane Kiffin as record-setting FAU Owls, Florida Atlantic and Akron, and the Cherubundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
But the job Lane Kiffin has done, 10-3, undefeated in Conference USA. And here's the thing that's unbelievable about it. Their closest margin of victory is 14 points. They're beating everybody else by 19 or more. Remarkable job by the Lane train.
And they get to play essentially a home game in the bowl as well. See what Mike Beaudry, the Argonauts, have for an answer. Beaudry nowhere to throw, eluding pressure again, and that one through the hands of Anthony Johnson. Keyston Carter, who has 17 and a half tackles for losses here, got some pressure off the edge.
Yeah, Keyston Carter, just 5'11", 280 pounds. This is not a very big defensive front. You can expect that at the Division II level, but when you don't have a lot of size or length, what you do have are leverage advantages. And if you're quick and explosive off the ball and you can play with low pad level, you can take advantage of an offensive line that might have more strength and girth than you do.
Officials are running in here to reset the start of the football. Now we have a flag thrown from the secondary. Now the umpire came in over the football.
Prior to the flag, timeout, West Florida. First charge, 30 seconds in length.
So West Florida takes its first time out of the half. And this is just a 30-second break, so we'll stick with you. Man who's trying to stop West Florida right now, the defensive coordinator for Commerce, Justin Deason, former Oklahoma State Cowboy, and Paul Carcaterra has more.
You saw the pressure on that last down by Justin Deason and the Texas A&M Commerce group. He's going to drum up a lot of pressure on this West Florida offense. That's been the theme when he's been speaking to the guys when they come off the field. He has a pretty basic and small playbook. His biggest influence, Wade Phillips. He spent some time in the offseason, and the biggest takeaway, we asked him yesterday in regards to Wade Phillips, his relationship with his players, the love that he has for the players. He keeps it simple, but he holds each and every one of these kids accountable in terms of their technique and basic fundamentals. But pressure, pressure, pressure.
That's great stuff, Karkin. We should see that throughout the night. If what Commerce has done defensively holds true, they're allowing just 16 points per game on the year, one of the best scoring defenses in Division II. Not all about the offense and the special teams for these Lions. Out of the timeout, Beaudry will keep it on the zone read and get upended. There's pressure off the edge coming from Yusuf Sterling Lowe, the All-American corner.
I said earlier, you're not going to see a lot of zone read concepts, and this is why. This is not the type of quarterback you want in this type of situation. They might have been just trying to see if they could catch Texas A&M Commerce off guard, but boy, I tell you what, that's a risk. And now you find yourself in third and long, an obvious passing down, an opportunity, as Paul just referenced, for Texas A&M Commerce to ramp it up, bring some pressure. Looks like they're just going to rush 3, drop 8.
Beaudry. Here comes a fourth rusher with a hit on him, and Beaudry's pass is in the area of nobody. He got crushed by a couple of Lions. Micah Noha, Peyton Searcy were in off the edge on that play.
I really like the mode of operation defensively. You see the 3-man rush there, you step up, and immediately you have the middle linebacker who's got his eyes forward on the quarterback, step up to make that play in the gap, make sure the quarterback can't get any positive yards with his legs. You play defense on the back end to keep the ball in front of you. Good execution from the Lions.
So here's Ray Raffay, whose first punt of his college career went 29 yards earlier in the quarter. This one's going to be quite a bit longer. Sean Hooks will let it bounce at the 20. That will spiral to the 19. ESPN's NCAA coverage continues with the FCS Championship on January 6th. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. That was officially a kick of 52 for Raffay, so quite an improvement for him. And the starting field position a little bit worse for Luis Perez and the Lions. The Harlan Hill winner, which is Division II's equivalent of the Heisman Trophy, with his 45th touchdown of the season already. Leads Division II in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Over 4,700 yards through the air on the year. First down play, and it is E.J. Thompson on the give. Riding his defender across the 35 for a first down. beg your pardon, Crandall Hale, the redshirt freshman, with a big play for Commerce.
Well, that's a wide gap and a wide hole, and really just at the point of attack, Texas A&M Commerce is big and physical. A lot of four-year transfers back. They look like a Division I football team up front, taking advantage of the undersized West Florida unit. And Matt Storm, the offensive coordinator, as I mentioned, wants to throw it, but if they're going to give you rundowns like that, you got to take advantage.
Perez taking his first deep shot of the game, and he's got it. Darian Landry, all the way down to the West Florida 15. 49 yards on the strike.
One of our keys to the game offensively, or defensively that is, for West Florida, was to limit the explosive vertical plays. This is what they want to do. They want to take you and stretch the field. You see the little initial contact there from Jalen Spencer, the corner, and Darian Landry just runs right by him.
Back on the ground to Hale. That will take us to the end of the first quarter. We have seen explosive plays from A&M Commerce, offensively and on special teams. Lions will flip the field with a 14-7 lead. Both teams looking for their first Division II national championship, and it is Texas A&M Commerce in the lead. Two national championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Texas A&M Commerce with a big physical offensive line paving the way for the Lions, who lead 14-7 after one and are knocking on the doorstep for more. Kevin Brown, Tom Luginbill with Paul Carcaterra on the sidelines, and our entire ESPN2 crew. Thrilled to be with you. Somebody's going home with a trophy tonight. First play, second quarter is a handoff, and not much doing for Crandall Hale. Ronald Bell on the stop, and it'll be third down coming up.
One of the few times this offensive line hasn't dominated the point of attack in the run game on first or second down. Crandall Hale was showing some strength and some lower body power to just push that pile forward, at least get back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's see what they come up with here on third down. This is a big defensive stand for West Florida if they can keep a touchdown out of the end zone.
Wide receivers bunched together. The play fake for Perez. On the move and a flip to Marquise Wimberly, and he will lose a couple of yards. Trent Archie, the nickelback, and their third leading tackler on the play, and it's field goal time for Texas A&M Commerce. Well, the Lions have one of the best kickers in Division II. He stands at 5'6", weighs at 143 pounds. Christoph Martinez, born in Monterrey, Mexico. He and his family moved to Texas at age 8, and he is the first member of his family to graduate from a university. Did so in 3.5 years. By the way, he's the all-time leading scorer in school history. 29-yarder makes it. But when he moved here to the United States with his family, there was a lot of competition. So he started kicking as a high school freshman. Now, Martinez came across with his family as an undocumented immigrant. So he applied to the DACA program, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, which is deferred action for certain undocumented folks who've come to the United States as children. That helped him gain a scholarship to college. Went to Rio Grande Valley for a year. Ended up here at Commerce, where he has become the all-time leading scorer in school history. Now, we talked to Christoph early today, and as a lot of folks know, that DACA program has been in the news quite a bit recently. Established 5 years ago, and it was rescinded this September. Its future is somewhat up in the air, but this is a young man who said he has faith that whatever path is chosen for him will be the right one. He is a model student, two-time All-Academic. He's a model player. He's a model teammate. And the folks here at Commerce cannot say enough good things about this young man, Christoph Martinez.
But through hard work, determination, and earning a college degree, he's created his own luck. He's created his own path. Regardless of what happens going forward, he's put in the time. All right, he's going to walk away with a college degree, and he's created an opportunity for himself and his family.
high kick here. Good field position for West Florida. Kark, what do you have on Christoph?
Well, Christoph's going to want that kick back, but nonetheless, he is a model student in regards to any type of individual. You talk to the coaches, they have nothing but glowing remarks about Christoph. He's a 4.0 student. You guys mentioned that he graduated from college, the first in his family. He is meticulous in everything he does, the way he treats his teammates, the way that he's involved with other extracurricular activities. He's part of a Christian band. Anything you'd want in a student athlete, regardless of background, this kid has it.
He's put Commerce ahead by 10 here in the national championship game. What does West Florida have for an answer with Mike Beaudry? Beaudry with a quick one for Antoine Griffin. That was his short pass, but it took a long time to get there. The Lions secondary all over it. Danny Huckabee with another hit.
You know what's interesting on those early series defensively for Texas A&M Commerce, I mentioned how Justin Deason, the defensive coordinator, wants to show a 5-man box. He wants West Florida to try and run the football. So he's widening out the outside linebackers, showing a few numbers in the box that would lead you to think, all right, we got to run it. We've got advantages here. But West Florida hasn't seen it yet. They haven't made the adjustments. So essentially what they're doing is throwing the ball on the perimeter into the teeth of where Texas A&M Commerce has an advantage. They've got to make that adjustment in their offense.
Beaudry. Flag comes. The pass is intercepted by Jalen Edwards-Cooper. A flag thrown in the backfield. Edwards-Cooper at the moment has his first interception of the season.
Holding number 61, offense. The penalties decline. Result of the play is first down, A&M Commerce.
19th interception for Texas A&M Commerce this year. The 11th different Lion with a pick.
You see Beaudry trying to just navigate here and find something late down the field. And, you know, you see number 8 there, Austin Blake Smith. I think he believes the ball's intended for somebody behind him. You see him, he lowers his hand there, and as a result, it ends up being an interception. If he'd attempted to catch the ball, possibly could have tipped it and avoided the turnover. He just didn't know who was behind him. Pressure there by Peyton Searcy, number 52 for Texas A&M Commerce, forcing the turnover.
What do we talk about? What did Kark tell us earlier? That pressure is going to keep coming from the Lions. Help lead to a takeaway there. Now a trick play, a throw by Cowan into double coverage for Wimberly, and it's incomplete. DeArthur Cowan, the wide receiver, heaving it up for Wimberly in double coverage.
What did I tell you? If it's not there, don't throw it. Run it. But it doesn't matter how much you tell them, they're still going to throw it. It looks like he actually comes down with the football, and then just at the last moment, a great effort defensively by Jalen Spencer, number 4, to strip that ball out in the end zone. Well, that would have been a touchdown for the Lions.
That's the man you want throwing the football. Perez zips it to Wimberly. 12 yards plus. Wimberly fighting hard on a Commerce first down.
Come on, Lugs. If you're DeArthur Cowan and you hear your number called, you know there's probably 4 or 5 trick plays installed right through practice all week. Right. You're not going to throw that ball. Come on,
Nope. Well, I know he's going to throw the ball. It doesn't matter. Listen, I wasn't coaching long enough to realize that with the halfback pass and all that, you tell him, just throw it out of bounds. Paul, whatever you do, don't throw this ball if he's covered. And they throw it every time.
He's thinking 6,
I know.
6 only.
Well, we've had a punter throw a pass. We've had a wide receiver throw a pass.
Double covered.
My suspicion is the best quarterback in the nation will take all the rest of the passes for Commerce, but who knows?
I don't know if it was necessary for the razzle-dazzle. You got momentum. You're up 10.
Crandall Hale. And a gain of 6 on first down. Colby Carthel likes to get a little bit wacky. And you understand that this is a young man who's had incredible success. He really is a young coach, only his 5th year at A&M Commerce, a program that had gone dormant. That young man has helped him, Luis Perez, as much as anybody. Cody Carthel took over a team that was 5-26 in a 3-year span. It's 47-15 since he came here.
It's a tremendous job of developing talent, building a program, and getting kids to buy in a short period of time.
Hale, nice delay in the backfield to zip free for another first down. Ground game has been strong for A&M Commerce, a gain of 7 on 2nd and 4.
Is it just me, and I'm going to get Paul to chime in maybe on this from field level, but this guy doesn't look like a Division II back. He is explosive. He is sudden. I haven't seen anybody get a clean shot on Hale yet, number 26 for Texas A&M Commerce. And so far, West Florida doesn't have an answer for him. I keep running the football until they stop it.
10 carries, 61 yards. E.J. Thompson, the true freshman in the game, at back now. Keelan Smith on the quick hitter. Smith is hit high. There's a flag thrown. Smith gets down to the 5. That flag is in the area of wide receiver holding. We'll see if that's indeed the call.
Coaches on the West Florida sure were calling for it on their sideline.
Holding, number 2, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
See him come on. You see the arms get on the outside there, Kevin. He just does a tackle on the perimeter. It's going to be tough for any official to miss that one.
That's Marquise Wimberly, the junior. That will back up 1st and goal to the 20 or so. Spotted officially at the 19, a penalty of 9 yards from the spot. Perez on 1st and goal, a little shovel flip. E.J. Thompson driven back, stays on his feet, and gets ripped down by a couple of Argonauts, Trent Archie and Jonathan Coleman.
Reggie Barnes there, number 18, with an initial missed tackle, but a lot of white jerseys flown to the football there. That's good team defense for the Argonauts.
First national championship appearance in Division II for either of these teams. Commerce won an NAIA championship 45 years ago to the day as of last Saturday. West Florida, again, is in its 2nd year of football ever. Perez over to the sideline, and Vincent Hobbs is there to get a few yards. It'll be a long 3rd and goal with Asante Griffin all over Hobbs.
So far, West Florida is bailing out their offense, because if they're able to force another field goal attempt here with the field position that their offense has given up, it would be a tremendous job and effort on behalf of West Florida on defense. And now it would be time for the offense to start thanking them.
Bailing out the special teams too after that 99-yard kick return by Kincaid.
No question.
3rd and goal from the 16. And Perez will hand it off. It will be a field goal try coming up. Reggie Barnes on the stop against Carandall Hale. Another crack for Christoph Martinez, the all-time leading scorer in Commerce history, after a successful kick of 29. This one will be from the same distance. Christoph Martinez, perfect. 2 for 2 extra points, 2 for 2 field goals, 8 more for the all-time leading scorer in Commerce history, and a 13-point lead in the national championship. You're watching the NCAA Division II Football Championship, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Texas A&M Commerce Lions from Commerce, Texas, about an hour east of Dallas. All they want for Christmas is a national championship. They've scored on 4 of their first 5 possessions, a field goal after the interception. And Texas A&M Commerce leads by 13 here in the Division II National Championship.
Time for West Florida to get some good field position here, start moving the football, settle down on offense, and don't force the play and create negative plays, because their defense on back-to-back series on a short field has not given up a touchdown. Offense has now got to do its part.
Christoph Martinez, after the field goal, will kick it away. A short kick last time. He will drive this football down to the 3-yard line, where Carlos Duclos takes it for West Florida. A hurdle for Duclos gets him to the 25.
Well, one of the reasons why West Florida has struggled so much is the pressure put on quarterback Michael Beaudry. You see people in his face. He's having to throw off balance. They tried to catch Texas A&M Commerce off guard there with a little quarterback pull, but there's always people in his face. He's under duress. He throws the ball off the back foot, leads to a turnover. It's been pressured 5 times so far. That last one, as I mentioned, a turnover, but the defense has held true, forced 2 field goals. Time for the offense to have an answer.
Beaudry only 40 yards on 12 attempts in the game, about 3.5 yards per pass. And Beaudry will look to throw it again. Slings this one to Tate Litio. And a gain of 10 yards, first down, West Florida.
Lugs, I'd like you to weigh in here. Beaudry's got a nice arm. He's a big, strong kid. But I think with pressure, what I'm not seeing from him, any lateral movement in the pocket. So when the pressure comes, he's in trouble.
Yeah, Paul, the walls close in quickly. And you're right, he's got a strong arm. And in fact, he's got a strong enough arm to get the ball out and make some difficult throws when he's under duress, or maybe his feet aren't underneath him, but he can't extend plays. And I think that's the challenge right now against this pass rush for Texas A&M Commerce.
Here's a run to Schwartz, only his 5th carry of the game. Does that surprise you at all? Schwartz had 29 for 175 last week. Are you surprised with how much West Florida's tried to throw it, or is that simply what they've seen?
No, I am surprised, because we talked to Justin Deason, the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M Commerce, and he was going to try to get them to run the football with their defensive alignment. Look at the box right here on defense in terms of the sheer numbers. Right now, that should tell you, if you're on offense in West Florida, you might want to attempt to run the football here.
They won't. A rush of 3 with the quarterback spy for a 4th. And Beaudry's pass, it's nearly intercepted. Danny Huckabee's been all over the field so far, and he almost had one for 6.
Well, to further our point, you're going to drop 8, rush 3. There's not going to be a lot of places to go with the football, and your quarterback, Michael Beaudry, is not going to be able to just take off and run. They're not threatened by his legs. So as long as the defense sits back, keeps their eyes forward, comes forward and makes tackles, there's nowhere to go downfield for this West Florida offense. Justin Deason right there, the defensive coordinator, a terrific game plan, and West Florida is playing right into the hands of it.
A&M Commerce, one of the top 3rd down defenses in Division II. Try to stop it, a 3rd and 7 here. Beaudry with space in the middle of that zone, and he completes it to Karan Ashley, and the ball's popped out. Fumble after the catch by Ashley. A&M Commerce was nearly on top of it, and it looks like West Florida somehow got into the mix for the football. Tate Litio was Johnny on the spot.
On the field is fumble recovered by the offense for a first down.
When you get in a crowd, you have got to secure the football. You cannot have that ball be loose in any way, shape, or form and not tucked in tight underneath your rib cage right there. Karan Ashley, very, very fortunate. This offense, very fortunate. They have some other white jerseys around the football.
Yusuf Sterling Lowe punched it out. It was Litio on top. Well, West Florida keeps possession, avoids disaster on really back-to-back plays. The near interception, the near lost fumble from the 46 of A&M Commerce. Mike Beaudry, incomplete on a sideline try out of the hands of Austin Blake Smith.
So essentially, let's paint the picture right now for Texas A&M Commerce on defense. They're showing a 3 or 4 man rush, deciding to rush 3. They're dropping 8 into coverage, so there's really nowhere to go with the ball downfield, but those 3 rushers are actually applying pressure. That cannot happen when you're in a 5 or 6 man protection, especially if your quarterback is not an extender of plays. They are a classic drop-back team with Mike Beaudry under center.
Best pass defense in the Lone Star Conference. A&M Commerce gave up just over 176 per game. Pressure here from Anoha, and Beaudry's pass incomplete. A low one for Litio. Coverage by Brooks Sadoff, the terrific middle linebacker. 9 of 17 in the game for Beaudry. They've run it just 5 times with Schwartz. Beaudry has run twice. One of them was designed, so he's dropped back to pass about 20 times.
Well, now you're in an obvious passing down. You can't run it. All right, if Texas A&M Commerce wants to, they can pressure you. They can rush 3 and drop 8. Every single thing they've dialed up has worked tonight because they've had some scheme advantages. Let's see what they elect to do here. Looks like it may just be a 3 possible 4-man rush up front.
Beaudry. Pressure comes. He is hit, and down he goes.
Well, you see it looked like there was going to be a 4-man pressure. He drops back, the middle linebacker does. Number 51 there, Josh Reynolds, and then lets the 3 defensive linemen, including Jalen Hodge, the big redshirt freshman defensive tackle. 92. Just a really aggressive, productive front. These guys have been very sound. They're confident. To be able to consistently apply pressure with just a 3-man rush, that doesn't happen, and the Lions have been all over it tonight.
Kick from Ray Rafay, and this is way out of bounds. Ray Rafay punting for the first time in his collegiate career, and A&M Commerce will start at its own 36. A punt of 14 yards.
Ball championship brought to you by Audi.
Cody Carthon, Luis Perez 2020. There are a whole lot of folks in the state of Texas that'll be giving them the vote. Head coach, quarterback, Texas A&M Commerce's Lions, who are playing for their first Division II national championship in history. They lead this game by 13. They have been successful on the ground and through the air. Here's Corrandall Hale spinning away from a first tackler, but dropped in the backfield for a loss.
It's one of the first
from Ronald Bell.
One of the first early down attempts we've seen from Texas A&M Commerce not be successful. It's a win at least early. And again, this defense for West Florida, they haven't been the problem. They've just been on the field a lot. They've now got 5 or 6 tackles for loss defensively. It hasn't been on the defense for the Argonauts.
Here's a screenplay, big hit. Jonathan Coleman came in, blew up Marquise Wimberly. Coleman, the transfer from FCS school Tennessee Tech.
And guys, this should have been a penalty. This ball is caught past the line of scrimmage with linemen in front of the intended target, and not one of the line judges or the head linesmen saw it. Now, regardless, it's 3rd and 9 for Texas A&M Commerce, but that ball was caught way downfield on a screen with multiple linemen downfield.
So maybe a bit of a break, but it is still 3rd and long. Perez will need the 45 for a first down. And Perez going to take off, try to get it, and he won't try that hard. Slides down with the oncoming Jonathan Coleman for a gain of a yard.
It's a smart play. You don't take the negative play. You gain 1 yard. The drive ends in a punt, and you don't get Munson. Come on, man. Kingpin, bowling. You got to stay with me here, Kevin. Roy Munson? Get Paul Carcaterra on here right now.
I had to watch Kingpin in preparation for this broadcast. Here's a low putt from Perry. Whoa. Was deflected by a player from West Florida heading out of bounds. Perry with that low rugby style kick. It'll be West Florida ball when we return. Weekend in the NFL this week. We'll tell you about that. First Division II championship football A&M Commerce the lead over West Florida by 13. It is Argonaut football near the end of this first half. And a rare first down run, Chris Schwartz. West Florida trying to establish its run game, Paul Carcaterra.
And he wants the ball, rightfully so. I mean, he went for over 170 yards last week against Indiana, Pennsylvania, the #1 seed. And you look at the way that this game is developing, guys. They are passing against a defense that is pressure, pressure, pressure. Why isn't Forty getting the ball more? He was on the sideline before this drive wanting the ball.
Now give it back to him. Chris Schwartz fighting his way to the 35. That's a first down for West Florida.
And you're right, Paul. Generally, they are a pressure team, but they've been able to apply pressure with 3-man rush, which means there's been nothing downfield in the passing game. And to our point all along, get the runs on early downs, first and second down. They just ran it twice and got 11 yards on 2 snaps. And Texas A&M Commerce is daring them to run the football, giving them numbers advantages in the box. They've got to start taking advantage of it like they're doing right here.
This is the first time in the game we've had 3 straight runs for Schwartz.
Not to mention, why wouldn't you give it to a running back who doesn't wear gloves? This guy means business. Look at him, so old school, love it.
No gloves, no sweatbands, no elbow pads. All he needs is a middle bar going down his face mask and he'd complete the look. Go maybe a little Gary Fensick. I know you're a millennial, Kevin. You don't know who Gary Fensick is.
No, Gary's on the sideline, isn't he? Chris Schwartz, 3 consecutive runs for West Florida. Young man who ran for over 5,300 yards in high school. Beaudry crushed and sacked from behind. The Oklahoma transfer, Michael Anoha.
Again, just a 4-man rush. They're just winning the one-on-one blocks on the edge. It's a mismatch trying to block these edge guys.
This is a media timeout.
And when you look at this defense and you take a look at what they've done, putting West Florida behind the 8 ball here at 3rd and 13, you see Colby Carthel, the head coach at Texas A&M Commerce, Kevin, he goes screaming down the sideline to call a timeout. He wants to take advantage of his clock. He's got 2 timeouts left and plenty of time to spare.
Big weekend in the NFL. Time to kick off your Sunday at 10 Eastern tomorrow with a countdown crew. They're live from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh before the Steelers and the Patriots. Then a big game on Monday night. NFC playoff implications as the Falcons head to Tampa. Coverage begins 6 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's.
Kevin, take a guess at how many players there are playing college football.
All of college football?
All of college football.
I'd say like 85.
It's 81,000 kids.
Okay.
So when you consider the Division II level, they've got a percentage here as well. You see some of the players contributing at the National Football League level. Brandon Carr, Danny Woodhead, Malcolm Butler out of West Alabama. How about Tyreek Hill? We're in Kansas City right now. Chiefs fans love how productive he has been. So while about 0.5% of all players that play college football have an opportunity in the National Football League, the Division II level is still represented.
There's a young man who was at the FBS level at Oklahoma, Anoha, who had the sack on the last play. Rushing Beaudry at a 3rd and long here, and Griffin comes back to the football to make the catch for a first down. 16 yards on 3rd and 13 for Antoine Griffin.
Boy, Griffin showing no fear, coming across the middle of the field, just behind linebacker level, avoids the hit from the safety, secures the ball, probably expecting to take a pop. You gotta love the toughness over the middle and convert, get a fresh set of downs for West Florida. They could not afford to give that ball back to the Lions of Texas A&M Commerce.
Second team all-conference receiver with the play. Under 2 to go in this first half. West Florida trying to add a score before the half. Beaudry hit as he throws, and this one is short of Griffin. Brooks Sadoff got a clean lick at the quarterback, Beaudry. He was a little bit slow to get on his feet.
He took one right in the kitchen there. This time you get a delayed pressure and a stunt underneath between the tackles and the defensive end, and then the open gap. The middle linebacker fills late, and Brooks Sadoff, I mean, wow, impressive.
First team all-conference player, the junior captain from San Antonio. Their tackles leader with a big hit. 2 timeouts left for West Florida. Ball on their own 48. Here's a catch for Quentin Randolph. Spins away from a defender. And Randolph, the little used wide receiver, is into Commerce territory. 21 yards on the hookup.
Well, what great sideline awareness. Number one on the catch to know where you're at. Then to see that, hey, I think I could extend this a little bit. And now this is going to get reviewed. I think they're going to check to see if when he made the initial move, if he didn't step out of bounds.
But the ruling on the play is a first down. The previous play is under further review.
We'll take a look at what ends up being his right foot right there. Now that's not a definitive, beyond all doubt, look at whether or not this could get overruled. Now that may be, and if you take a look at his foot right there, that'll give you a shot to take a look. We've got some sideline personnel blocking the viewpoint. We're going to get it right here. Just right in there, and you're going to see just probably his pinky toe and the one right next to it out of bounds.
Great work by our camera crew as always to capture that shot. There's the scene of the crime.
Are there some fresh shards of white painted grass where it shouldn't be?
Either way, it's the 3rd catch of the year for Randolph. West Florida does get the ball back to begin the second half. West Florida deferred, so if the Argonauts score here, get this to a 10-point game or perhaps a 6-point game, then they get the football right back to start the second half. So this is a difference of 11 yards here if Randolph is ruled out of bounds at the first spot.
The runner stepped out at the 37-yard line. It's first down. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 39 seconds. 1:39.
Well, still a first down, still 2 timeouts for West Florida. Plenty of time for the Argonauts to get into the end zone or get into field goal range.
Plenty of time, but that is a big deal as it does pertain to field goal range and where you'd like to be to ensure some success. So let's see how much that replay review has an impact on the completion of this drive.
Austin Williams has kicked from 51 this year. And just a little bit outside of his range right now. Beaudry over the middle. Griffin's got another one. First down to the 19. 18 yards for Antoine Griffin, the junior from Tampa.
This is coming off a straight play pass. Number 10, Alex Shiloh, makes the tackle, but boy, Griffin is impressive. Big number 7 just comes across the middle of the field with no regard for getting hit. He just focuses on the football. That's twice he's run that deep in cut and knowing he's likely going to get hit.
Listed at just 5'10", 146. Beaudry looking at the throwback here. That was a dangerous pass. Thankfully for him,
there's no foul for intentional grounding. The pass was out of the tackle box. The ball crossed the line of scrimmage. Second down.
Of Alex Shiloh.
That's interesting because the head linesman's pointing at a target that was eligible downfield, but I was a little unsure of whether or not he was outside of the tackle box completely there.
Four receivers from the Commerce 20. Only a 3-man rush again. Beaudry to Griffin at the goal line and reaching across for a touchdown. Ten plays, 77 yards right before the end of the half. And big play number 7, Antoine Griffin, who was one of the original 9 members of the West Florida program in the spring of 2015, more than a year before they started playing games, hauls in a touchdown in the national championship.
Well, here's that deep in-cut route once again out of the slot. You see him press like he's going to run to the corner, and the ball thrown on target over the middle in a crowd. Griffin answers the toll. The Argonauts back in it.
Mike Beaudry on the left, Antoine Griffin on the right. Quarterback and wide receiver hooking up for a 20-yard touchdown. Another big play for West Florida, which has scored on its final possession of the first half in 10 out of 14 games this year. If this is their final first half possession, there's 58 seconds to go. That's 11 of 15, and maybe none bigger than that one here in the national championship. Down 13 and seemingly being outplayed all over by A&M Commerce before that drive.
Well, I'll tell you, believing in themselves is not a quality or a trait that West Florida lacks. You don't win 4 straight road games to get to the national title without having to make some of your own luck, have a little bit of luck, and then make some critical plays down the stretch. And as we've said, Kevin, it hasn't been on the defense for West Florida. They've played hard, they've played tough, and they've been on a short field. They've forced field goals.
Last kickoff was run back for a touchdown, so Williams pops this one short. It's one of the H-backs, Corey Smallwood. A&M Commerce with a couple of timeouts at its own 35. The storylines for this national championship game for West Florida: second season of competitive football. Announced the program 6 years ago, hired Pete Shinnick in 2014, only started playing last year, a run the likes of which we've never seen. And now Luis Perez, the top player in Division II, will try to put some points on the board for Commerce before the half. 2 timeouts and a relatively short field for Perez. Rush of 4, he'll dump it to his back, Corandall Hale, and a pickup of only 3. Hale crunched by Anthony Riles and Jonathan Coleman.
West Florida, Kevin, will allow that all day long. What they can't allow are big plays over the top and big chunk yards here with just under 40 seconds to go.
Perez toward the sideline, and that one is reeled in. DeArthur Cowan got his hands under the ball with 28 seconds to go. A gain of 11. Commerce quickly to the line. Lions have 2 timeouts, and they are going to use one.
Timeout, A&M Commerce. Second charge, 30 seconds in length.
And they were unable to get out of bounds on that play as Cowan was downed and tackled in the field of play.
Texas A&M Commerce, team that won 3 consecutive Lone Star Conference championships. Colby Carthel showed us his ring for back-to-back-to-back conference championships yesterday. He'd like a new ring, though. They didn't win the conference championship this year, and despite being the number 8 team in the country, they were the 5th seed in their region. So they had to go on the road, play Winona State, who was the 4 seed. Central Washington, the game they trailed 28-7 at the half. A touchdown in the final seconds sent the game to overtime, where Christoph Martinez hit a couple of field goals. The win over the number 1 team in the country, Minnesota State. And then, because this bracket's become so wacky, Commerce actually hosted a game against Harding, a 7 seed from its region last week. Dealt with a triple option and won by a couple of scores. Both teams looking for their first Division II national championship. Here is Vincent Hobbs. Got hit from behind and got an extra 10 yards at least, maybe 12. As the big bruiser Hobbs picks up 18, Commerce is in field goal range.
Well, we saw this in the first quarter from Hobbs. He's a load, 6'3", 255 pounds. Nice job by Perez to just dump this ball off. And then big Hobbs just does the rest. You can't tackle him.
I get a timeout before the
Prior
spike.
to the snap, timeout, West Florida, second charge, 30 seconds in length.
And that's a win for A&M Commerce, which saves the timeout and saves a couple of seconds. And a down, frankly.
I don't know if they just felt like they couldn't get lined up and they were going to, get exposed real quickly by Texas A&M Commerce coming to the line of scrimmage real quickly. But you're right.
Please
That's
reset Please reset the game clock to 16 seconds. 1-6, please.
That's a break for the Lions, no question.
Well, they're at the edge of Martinez's field goal range right now, as long as 48. This one would be right about there.
You know, talk about what that man right there, Colby Carthel, has been able to accomplish, and we talked about the run to be a fifth seed in your region and have to play the games on the road that you've played, then host a game at home. He told us they almost didn't know what to do. Their kids were so used to being on a bus, you know, unpacking, staying in hotels, playing the game, coming home late at night, and the combined record of the teams that they beat, 34-1 during that stretch.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Toughest road that anyone's faced in the NCAA Division II playoffs since it expanded to 5 rounds in 2004. 34-1 the first 3, then they beat a Harding team that had won 11 in a row. And here they are against a second-year program trying to claim the national championship. Perez from the 32. Perez with a pump fake. Pressure's coming, and down he goes. Big sack for John Williamson. His 17th of the season has just moved Commerce out of field goal range.
Timeout, A&M Commerce, third of the half. This is a 60-second timeout.
Listen, it's only 1 sack on the evening, but it's 7 tackles for loss now for this West Florida defense. And we have spoke all half long about the job this defense have done. Keep in mind, this offense has been prolific for Texas A&M Commerce. You've got the #1 passing offense, the Harlan Hill Award trophy winner and quarterback Luis Perez, and they have had a short field to have to defend for most of the night. It's been a remarkable job by the Argonauts on defense, and that's why they're in this football game right now at just 14-20 with 9 seconds remaining.
So what do you dial up here? 2nd and 21, no timeouts. Are you heaving it into the end zone yet, or trying to get 6 yards on the sideline?
I think you maybe make 1 throw to the sideline, but for more than 6. You maybe throw a speed cut out, maybe here to the boundary. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they're going to try to defend the flats and take away that outside throw. But you can't afford to throw it down the middle of the field. That's your issue. No timeouts left for Texas A&M Commerce. And you're going to see these corners on defense for West Florida play with an outside technique lightly. Get them just slightly outside of the receiving targets.
Perez toward the sideline, and Cowan, he was out of bounds.
There's the 12-yard speed cutout that I just talked about.
On the field is an incomplete pass, third down.
But it's tough to complete when the quarter's playing outside leverage and the underneath defender gets in front of the throw. You've got to throw it up and out and over, and it's hard to make this play. Look at where that ball has to be placed, and it's a good call by the officiating crew. That foot out of bound for Cowan. Great effort on the football, just tough one to make with not a lot of room to make it.
Jake Weatherford was the headlinesman right on it. 3rd and 21. One final shot to the end zone, perhaps, for Perez before the end of this half. He's not going to get it off in time.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
A couple of receivers are Landry and Wimberly to the left, and then 2 bunched close to the right on the formation, Hobbs and Hooks. Luis Perez, final play of the first half, gets hit, ball comes out, and it's just for bookkeeping at this point, whether it's West Florida's takeaway or not, because it ends the half. Andre Duncombe has the football.
Recovered by the defense.
Is a recovered fumble by West Florida. Either way, the Argonauts will get it to begin the second half. They score to end the first half, cut the lead to 6. A&M Commerce still in front in the Division II National Championship. Halftime. Time to send it to Chris Cotter in the studio. You're watching the NCAA Division II Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. A terrific back and forth first half has seen Texas A&M Commerce in the lead over West Florida. Both schools looking for their first Division II national title. Kevin Brown, 1979 Odor Eaters champion Tom Luganville alongside you. Great first half, partner. West Florida looked a little bit out of it toward the end of the half. A late touchdown drive has put them right in this game.
Yeah, I know this thing started out really competitive, but I think what we saw was the prolific offense of Texas A&M Commerce getting slowed down by the West Florida defense, but the lag of the West Florida offense just wasn't there until the latter part of the second quarter. That touchdown within 2 minutes of the second quarter heading into halftime was pivotal, because now West Florida gets the ball coming out of the locker room. He gets an opportunity to go down and get some points on the board and really make this thing a competitive ball game.
Christoph Martinez will kick it away for A&M Commerce. Lions at 13-1, the 8th-ranked team in Division II out of the Lone Star Conference. The West Florida Argonauts in their second year of football, 11-3, unranked in Division II, and here in the national title game. And they'll start at their own 20-yard line. First half highlights, A&M Commerce again with the 6-point lead over West Florida. And this was the first 6 of the game, Sean Hooks.
Yeah, Sean Hooks, a prolific, explosive play, and there were a few of these early for Texas A&M Commerce, but West Florida on offense in the first quarter answered with a touchdown of its own, but then in the ensuing kickoff gives off the huge 100-yard kickoff return to Kincaid, number 25 there for Texas A&M Commerce, and then it was that West Florida defense I touched on. 7 tackles for loss in the first half alone. They have been able to slow down this prolific offense and quarterback Luis Perez, and then answered late in the second quarter for a touchdown, and now get the opening kickoff of the third quarter.
It was a run-heavy start to that drive for the touchdown, and they will begin here the Argonauts with a handoff for Chris Schwartz, and a couple of yards for the sophomore back. Mike Beaudry, the redshirt freshman, the first player to officially sign with this West Florida program. A rocky start, but a late touchdown pass.
A rocky start, and I think a lot of it had to do with maybe the offensive staff for West Florida not seeing that adjustment of taking advantage of the light box for Texas A&M Commerce on defense and running the football on early downs. That is critical for West Florida's offensive success here in the second half.
On a second down, here is Schwartz bulldozing his way to the middle. Pete Shinnick, the head coach of these Argonauts. Paul Carcaterra caught up with him before the half.
Indeed, caught up with Pete Shinnick, the head coach of West Florida. Really thrilled with his defensive effort. He said in the second quarter, they kept him in the game. Their corners are holding up against Luis Perez, who is the Division II National Player of the Year. They got some pressure. They drummed it up without sending extra guys so they could support with their back end, and their corners are holding up. But offensively, he said his quarterback, Mike Beaudry, really needs to settle down. He said that last drive by Beaudry and the touchdown was great for him, but he's rushing things. He needs to settle down.
He needs 3 yards here. He's pressured, and he will flip it late. A deflected catch made along the sidelines by Kevin Grant. How about that? Off the hands of Danny Huckabee.
First down.
Let's take a look at this off of the tip and the deflection. And it looks like that's going to stand. Great focus and sideline awareness. As we see right here, does he secure the football and finish the act of the catch with at least 1 foot in bounds? I think he does.
6 yards. Yeah, 6 yards for Grant. It will not be reviewed. Beaudry off his back foot, and that is a little bit too long, but there's a flag. Contact between Jalen Edwards-Cooper defensively, running with Karan Ashley.
Jalen Edwards-Cooper, number 27. You just see the little bump there on Karan Ashley while the ball's in the air.
Pass interference, number 27, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Ashley thinks that, that ball was uncatchable. Excuse me, Jalen Edwards-Cooper feels like that ball was uncatchable, but you can't impede the process of the receiver's ability to try and track the football. And And I can't believe that previous play was not under review. On a critical third down like that along the sideline, very, very surprising.
Yeah, to not even be a look.
No.
It looked like it was the right call from the replay we saw. And that's how it will stand for all time. Beaudry pressured. Another sidearm sling. And that's out of the reach of Austin Blake Smith.
You know, gents, one other thing that Pete Shinnick told me when he was coming out of the locker room was the opportunities in the pass game, Luke. I don't know if you're seeing it as well. He thinks over the middle against this Texas A&M Commerce defense could be because of all the pressure they're drumming up, but that's where he feels his quarterback, Mike Beaudry, will have opportunities.
Well, he's right, because when they're dropping 8, they're dropping into zones, and there's pockets and areas of the field to the intermediate portions of the field between the numbers and between the hashes that are going to be available. But still, look at the light box here. That's an opportunity to run the football. I know it's 2nd and 10. Let's see. There we go.
And it's Schwartz with a good gain on 2nd down, picks up 5 yards, sets up a 3rd and 5.
They have averaged a minimum of 4 yards per carry on 1st or 2nd down when they chose to run the football. When you look at what Texas A&M Commerce is doing with their alignment,
for an injured player.
They're asking West Florida to run it, and West Florida hasn't taken advantage of those opportunities, in my opinion, often enough to put themselves in manageable 3rd down situations.
This is the left guard, Joe Wintrick, an Oklahoma State transfer, who was walking around this week with his foot in a walking boot. Wintrick banged up, and we'll check on him when we return to Kansas City. Joe Wintrick, the injured left guard, walking into the tunnel for West Florida before 3rd and 5 for the A&M Commerce 47. If you get a couple of yards, Luke, are you thinking about a 4th down try?
I am. I think if you get within 2, the way your defense has been playing, you got this far, go ahead and roll the dice. Have some faith in your football team.
See if run's a possibility after a 5-yard carry to Schwartz last time. That middle of the field's open. Beaudry's going to go that way on the slant. Knocked away from Randolph. Edwards Cooper, who had that pass interference penalty earlier in the drive, with clean coverage here.
I'm really surprised that they did not get Cooper with his right hand around the shoulder. You see that? The left hand is a great play on the football, but so often we see that right arm as it's hugging either the waist or the right arm of the target, which we saw right there get called by the field judge, who's standing right behind that play as it unfolds.
That might have even been a little bit more than the pass interference.
Yeah.
So it will be a punt from Ray Raffay. On this 4th and 5, Raffay kicks it away. And Hooks accidentally fielded that one, and he's out of bounds just shy of his 20. Once again, we see Luis Perez, the Division II Player of the Year, won the Harley Hill Award this year. Completion percentage pretty darn strong, 15 for 18, his 45th touchdown of the season to lead Division II. But West Florida defense defensively has, as this game's gone on, gotten some better pressure on Perez. There's Darian Doolin, their first-year defensive coordinator. 8 tackles for a loss, couple of sacks for West Florida, and good on 3rd down.
Absolutely, and that's the most important down defensively. They have really held up well when they've had to play on a short field because of their offense ineffectiveness.
Here's a give to Carandall Hale. Nice first half for the redshirt freshman back, but he lost the football. It's in the hands of West Florida. There go the Argonauts down to the 5 with Austin Dukes.
As we've said all along, this West Florida defense is the reason why this team's in this football game right now. You see the tremendous strip from Jonathan Coleman defensively. You got a lot of white jerseys around the football. See, a ball just lands right into the hands of Austin Dukes. And look at the field position now, the momentum back onto the sideline of the West Florida Argonauts. Let's see if they can capitalize and get some points on the board, get a touchdown, take the lead here.
A 1st and goal from just outside the 5. Beaudry will give it to Chris Schwartz, and he gets nothing. That takeaway was the third in the game for West Florida. One of them was an interception return on a fake punt, and the other was a recovered fumble on the final play of the half, so that almost doesn't count. This one as consequential as any.
Well, that Texas A&M Commerce offense, they had 3 plays of over 20 yards on offense. All happened within the first 7 minutes of the first quarter. Since then, it's been all West Florida on defense, and they have stymied this offense from Texas A&M, and now West Florida has an opportunity to put points on the board.
Tight end Blake Smith alone to the right. 3 left for Beaudry. He will look left, now come back, look right. Beaudry's going to take off here and reach out down to the 2. 4 yards on the run for the 6'5" quarterback Beaudry.
It wasn't graceful.
Conversation. Sterling Lowe. On the run and stumble, maybe we should say.
Cliff Fleming, number 68, the right tackle there, leading the way with a nice little block on the perimeter as Beaudry flushed the pocket. That was one of the most hard-earned 4-yard runs I've ever seen by a quarterback, by the way.
Backup left guard in the game right now, Collier, in this 3rd and goal situation. Beaudry looking left. Pressure comes. He is sacked. Peyton Searcy has been all over Beaudry tonight, and he picks up a sack for a loss of 9.
And number 52 has just been so active, and this is a defensive front that just keeps coming after you. They might get blocked initially, they keep working, they keep using their hands. Again, they're not very big, they play with leverage, get under your pad level. Peyton Searcy, 6 foot, 275-pound junior, playing with a great motor there, forcing the field goal.
3rd sack of the game for Commerce. Now Austin Williams, the all-conference kicker from 27. Beaudry, the quarterback, will hold as Williams slots it through. So West Florida gets 3, but that is a huge win for A&M Commerce after the lost fumble. Pete Shinnick's team a little bit closer. Jonathan Coleman knocked it out. Austin Dukes recovered it. Argonauts within 3. This is the NCAA Division II Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Texas A&M Commerce with a goal line stand to hold West Florida to 3 after a lost fumble by Crandall Hale. And the Lions maintain their lead 3 points over the Argonauts. Both teams in search of their first national championship in Division II football history. Commerce won a championship 45 years ago in the NAIA. West Florida, of course, has not had a chance for a championship. The Argonauts are in their 2nd year of football, looking to become the fastest team in Division II history to win a championship. They're the fastest team in Division II history to make the playoffs, and here they are after 4 road wins. Short kick Williams, fielded by Smallwood, and good starting position for the Lions once again. West Florida started football 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago officially. They announced the program just 6 years ago. It's an unprecedented meteoric rise. You've never seen this in this sport, maybe not in any sport. They have to deal with only the best player in Division II en route to trying to get their first national championship. Colby Carthel still positive on the sideline, the 5th-year head coach who has turned this Lions program around. E.J. Thompson is the back after the lost fumble for Hale, and a good tough run here as Thompson lowers his shoulder and runs into Asante Griffin for 8. For Luis Preslu's first team All-American, did not get to throw the ball in that last play, the lost fumble. You expect him to put it back in his hands?
Well, that's what they do best, and they're going to have to make some plays and make some adjustments coming out of halftime because they were really slowed down for much of the, if not the entire 2nd quarter. And now they find themselves in a dogfight.
Short throw to Hooks for a first down to midfield.
As we talked about, in the first half, they created a lot of explosive plays. And then after about 7 minutes or so in, they kind of disappeared, and it was all West Florida on defense. So the goal for Texas A&M Commerce is to stretch the field. They want to make vertical plays, and there have been none to be made as a result of the effort defensively by the Argonauts.
Perez all day to throw, and he hits Hobbs out of the flat. Vincent Hobbs bouncing off a defender. You cannot take this young man down. 6'3", 255, seemingly made of steel.
It's a good veteran play here from Luis Perez, knowing exactly where his outlet is. You see Hobbs there, as you mentioned, the 255-pounder. He's a bull in a china shop now. You take a, you're not gonna just ankle tackle this guy. You better bring some white jerseys with you.
E.J. Thompson with a first down run and a gain of 4. Paul?
Hobbs is one of these guys on the Texas A&M Commerce offense that looks the part. He started his career at Colorado, shortstop at Louisiana Monroe. But when you watch him and you watch his athleticism and his strength, he looks like a Division I football player, Luke's.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, commend him on his love of the game, because this is a guy that chose to come back home. His father was ill and was making 4 or 5 hour commutes each way, trying to get into school and play football and take care of his family.
Perez to the outside, and Cowan right near the sticks, and he is just a yard or so short.
You know, Paul, you bring up a great point in relationship to how some of these body types of these players look, because it is a different level of football. But when you have the opportunity to get guys that maybe have moved on to 4-year universities, it doesn't pan out, they come back home, and you're playing with some kids that maybe are a little bit more talented than what your competitors have, and it gives you an advantage, particularly when you're trying to make a playoff run.
Running back is E.J. Thompson, the true freshman on this 3rd and 1. Thompson takes it and runs left for a first down. He is still not down, Thompson. Some tough running after contact. Had a big second half last week against Harding, Thompson, and after the lost fumble by Hale, he is the go-to guy.
That's just good hard-nosed running. He's got the ball secure. 2 missed tackles there at the point of attack. And then the offensive line just imposing their will. We talked about that too, Kevin, early in the first half, how big and physical this offensive line was, and they were initially handling the line of scrimmage. Now they're getting back to this run game.
74, Jared Machoro was in there, shoving a couple of white jerseys out of the way. Perez flips it up for Hobbs, try to reach behind him and make a circus catch, and there's a flag. Sam Adams was in coverage for West Florida.
It was a late flag, Kevin, in the back end of the end zone. That one took a little while to come out of the pocket.
There were fouls by both teams. Pass interference, number 36, defense. Holding, number 71, offense. The penalties offset, replay, 3rd down.
It was Malik Ellis, the right tackle, after the late pass interference against Adams.
Yep, Sam Adams, 36, the winter logger, in on the pass interference.
1st down.
And that was the interference. Here comes the hold. I thought you were going to say something. Maybe you were just thinking up more Sam Adams puns. Here's a sling to Wimberly, down to the 11 for a first down. Marquise Wimberly, one of 5 players with 50 catches on this Texas A&M Commerce team. They spread it around, they throw it all over the field, and they are 11 yards away from making this a 9 or a 10-point game. Packed backfield here, and Perez will give it to Thompson for a short gain.
Keep in mind, Kevin, this is where West Florida's been their best on defense. When their back's been up against the wall, when they've been on a short field, that's when they've really stood up the tallest. They could force a field goal here. It would be critical when you consider that West Florida was not able to capitalize with the turnover and get a touchdown and had to settle for a field goal. So offensively, Texas A&M Commerce has got to be productive in the red zone, and that hasn't been a strength of theirs tonight.
Where are you looking here if you're Commerce?
I like the one-on-one matchup up top. If you're going to throw the football, you don't have any safety issues.
It's Cowan over there. Instead, Perez will go to Hobbs, and that's through his hands.
It's a bit of a difficult throw out into the flat because Luis Perez had to throw that ball up and over an outstretched arm of a defender and made it a difficult grab that time for Hobbs.
Lions have not been a great third down team this year, and not great today. Only 36% on the season, 104th in the nation. 3rd and 8 from the 9. It's a run play, and it's Thompson for a touchdown.
On 3rd and 8, untouched. You see big number 77, Jordan Smith, the left guard. He peels around. They run right by him. Very well executed. Just like you draw it up in the meeting room. And what an important play for this Texas A&M Commerce offense. Again, have not been overly productive in the red area. Needed to answer the bell there off of the last series turnover.
10 plays and 62 yards. E.J. Thompson, the true freshman, with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. None of them bigger than this. (21), 22, 23.
Wait a minute, isn't the mascot supposed to be doing the push-ups?
That's right. This is an inverted Oregon Duck for the A&M Commerce fans.
Look at the skis he's got.
It looks like he's got some webbed feet, in fairness.
Look at the guy behind him just checking it out.
This has got to be it. One more, right? There it is. E.J. Thompson providing that lift for the Lion mascot. Freshman running back, first season with A&M Commerce with a handshake. Lions in the lead, looking for their first national championship in Division II. But this West Florida team, we know, is nothing if not resilient. Squeaked into the playoffs as a 6th seed out of 7 in their region. Won 4 road games to get to this point in their 2nd year of football. And the Argonauts have had answer after answer tonight. Another high short kick for Martinez, and West Florida will start at its own 29. Tuesday night, it's the Cherubundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. If you haven't seen Florida Atlantic this year, folks, you're going to want to watch this Owls offense. Devin Singletary running the ball, Lane Kiffin calling plays. The Owls get Akron, the champions of the MAC East, at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I had Akron twice this year. Terry Bowden and his staff have done a really good job there, getting that thing back up and competitive. They've got a great facility, and they're going to have their hands full with Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is athletic and fast. Should be a good one.
They're a popular 41-point pick in the ESPN Bowl confidence pool, Florida Atlantic. They've just been blowing teams out of late. Anthony Johnson is the running back, true freshman for the Argonauts in this first play for Beaudry. And a short throw knocked away. Kark, you going to be down in Boca for that game?
I will, but more importantly, I just started following Lane Kiffin on Twitter. It's actually,
took you so long.
It's quite amusing, but I love his style. I love the spotlight he's giving his program right now, because this isn't a program that's used to the national exposure, but look, when it comes down to brass tacks, Lugs, this guy's an incredible coach. What were they, 3-9 last year? Now they're 10-3?
3-9. And Charlie Partridge, the former head coach, deserves a lot of credit for having some good kids there that he recruited. Right now, Lane Kiffin's making the most of it. Yeah, I don't think anybody can question what type of football coach Lane Kiffin is.
Beaudry again over the middle. That's been the hot spot in the game, and Litio couldn't hang on with tight coverage from Mark Westbrook.
Well, this was almost a spectacular grab by Litio, and defensively, Javon Blanchard, number 28. Number 28, excuse me, Westbrook, from his secondary position making the play.
He's a linebacker at 5'11", 195, but he plays more of a nickel role sometimes. And the A&M Commerce fans are in full-throated force for a long third down. West Florida has been strong on third downs tonight. Beaudry again over the middle, and this is incomplete, out of the hands of a diving Rodney Coates.
Again, these deep in-cutting routes, the dig routes. I think that's a catchable football. You expect to make a play like that. If you're Gage Krull, number 12, on the perimeter, you make that throw, and right there you're seeing number 7, Antoine Griffin, who is such an integral part of the passing game in the second quarter, talking with his quarterback.
Well, Rafay got hit on the punt. Flag comes out. Ray Rafay was hit on a 4th and 10. There was some heavy pressure. Ja'Quarius Smith got him.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Number 43, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I'll give you the 5-yard penalty on that one, but I can also give you a nice primetime Emmy as well. That's a heck of a break for the West Florida offense. We'll see if they can capitalize on it.
It's Rafay's first game punting this year, but clearly that's not the only skill he's been working on for the last 15 weeks or so.
Got to understand, Kevin, punters got a lot of time on their hands. You know,
oh, no question.
It's not like they're taking part in every rep.
Yeah. Listen, however good the acting job may or may not have been, it is 15 yards. Do what you can to get yourself a little extra yardage. And West Florida keeps the football and has great field position.
Here's Griffin right there in the slot. That's the guy that they've got to target and get the football to. He was the player that right now Texas A&M Commerce really hasn't had an answer for, but they haven't targeted him much here in the third quarter.
Beaudry not looking his way here again with that comeback pass over the middle, and again it's low, intended for Coates. Edwards Cooper once more in coverage.
A little bit contact on the coverage from Edwards Cooper here, 27. A little tugging on the jersey. You see the hands around the waist. I'm actually surprised, too, from some of these field judges in their diagonal corner position. They're standing diagonally right behind that type of play, that they're not seeing some of that tussling back and forth to pull that flag out of their pocket.
Beaudry's been terrific on third downs. Has another long one to face him here. Beaudry. Griffin was locked up with Ramsey there, and neither even so much as went for the football, with Westbrook also in coverage.
So I talked about Antoine Griffin. You see him in the slot right there? Now look how they bracket him with the safety. You've got 2 defenders on one. That's just a forced throw by Beaudry. He should not make this throw. He's got to see that. And they are walling off number 7. They're not going to allow him to turn the corner on that underneath defender and come over the middle on that in route anymore. They're going to play that safety inside out and bracket coverage him, which is going to leave some open opportunities for some other guys. Now they got to get that identified so the Beaudry can start making the proper reads.
Clean punt here for Rafay, and not a good one once again. This is way out of bounds. And it will be strong field position for Commerce whenever the officials spot this thing. Wait for it, wait for it. 38-yard line, punt of 17 yards. Luis Perez is at the national championship game. Texas A&M Commerce is here for the first time, but Perez is not. A couple of his JUCO buddies, Maurice Carnell, Dorsey Norris for North Alabama. Luis made the drive up with his wife Brenda. You were here, Luke, so it was not great. He said he wanted to come up because he wanted to experience the game, because he felt like they would be here this year. He wanted to know what that game would be like. His coach, Colby Carthel, told us, I was at a Christmas party that day, so I didn't feel so great knowing Luis made the drive up to Kansas City. Perez going to dump it off here, find Keelan Smith for a nice gain on first down of 7. And that's not the only drive he's made. A couple of years ago, Perez was redshirting here at Commerce, and he was not part of the travel roster.
Right.
And the Lions were playing up Ferris State, and he made that drive.
All the way to Michigan.
Yeah, he said, we'll be in the playoffs next year, and I want to know what that feels like. So if Luis Perez calls you and says, hey, we're going on a road trip, you drop what you're doing and you ride shotgun.
That's right.
E.J. Thompson, a first down run near midfield.
The toughest road trip that Luis Perez had to make, though, was from California to Texas. And when I spoke to him this week, he said a little bit of a culture shock. He was a California boy, loved to eat tacos, came to Texas, and it was just football. So it was easy to mono-focus. But the maturity of this kid, when you see him on the sideline interacting with his teammates, you mentioned his wife. He's been married for almost 3 years this January. I mean, the kid's poised. He's not ever going to be rattled.
And he and his wife Brenda are both graduating today. Perez taking a shot here, and he airmails Darian Landry.
How cool is that? They're both graduating today. And you know, I'm from San Diego as well. I played at Palomar College in the same conference as Southwestern College. He played there down in San Diego. And I can assure you, I've also lived in Dallas, and their Commerce just east of Dallas. They got plenty of good tacos in Texas.
Right, I was going to say, it's a drop-off from San Diego.
Maybe just a slight.
It's not like you're going from San Diego to
Rhode Island for tacos.
Right, sure.
No offense, Rhode Island.
I hesitated on a state because I didn't want to offend somebody. But you went right for it.
People
You know what?
got to get over it.
Rhode Island, strong state, not a strong taco state.
Don't
It's
get
okay.
so offended.
Yeah, you have some chowder. Perez to the sideline here. There's a flag thrown as Marquise Wimberly makes the catch. And it's a Commerce first down before the penalty marker. Once again, we'll hear from Dwight Niebling.
Pull downfield, 79 offense. The pass was caught beyond the line. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That was the right guard, Poet Thomas, with the penalty. We mentioned Perez. He is not the only one who will receive his degree in a ceremony after the game, win or lose. One of 7 players, including their kicker, Christoph Martinez, and the man in the middle, John Aguilar, graduating mid-year, and they will be awarded their degrees in a special ceremony after the game. That is awesome, and it's something that you don't see very often. But here at the Division II level, these teams, these schools are really cognizant of that full student-athlete experience. Only have 36 scholarships to split up as Perez is intercepted. First interception of the game thrown by Perez, and it is Andre Duncombe with the takeaway.
Well, we're going to have some extracurricular activities that are going to result in a flag being thrown by every zebra on the field right now.
There are 2 flags. There's a third one down. Duncombe an interception for the 2nd straight game, his 4th of the season. And we've got something extra after the play to sort out, but it is West Florida football.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 79, A&M Commerce. 15-yard penalty, first down, West Florida.
Poet Thomas with a penalty on consecutive plays, and Duncombe a return of 16.
How about the spectacular play he makes here? Keying the quarterback, the one-handed grab, he got to secure the football, big man. Then he gets to the sideline, and you're going to see the late hit as he goes down to the ground. The offensive lineman is going to come over the top, and Poet Thomas, the Texas Tech transfer, you're going to see at the end of the play. Right there.
Boy, that was some catch by Duncombe.
Wasn't it?
One more look.
This angle here is great.
16th interception, 17, beg your pardon, now for West Florida. Had the one from Griffin on the punt. So West Florida football inside the 25, and a pitch to Chris Schwartz, trying to cut it back in, and he finds nowhere to go. The play was covered up well. Dominique Ramsey was in from the secondary. Pierre Leonard from up front as well.
Dominic Ramsey. Look at the high right side of your screen. That's called a run fit, folks. He fits the run, leverages the football, forces it back inside to where the rest of his buddies are coming from, wearing blue and yellow.
Redshirt freshman had offers from Air Force, Army, and Navy. From Converse, Texas, close to home and making an impact here in the national championship game. Beaudry on 2nd down and 9. Sterling low with some pretty tight coverage that is not flagged on the throw for Karan Ashley. They're playing physical football, Luke's, in the secondary.
Yeah, and they're letting them play in the secondary because there's been a lot of contact occurring before the football's gotten there. Listen, that's in slow-mo. That's easy to see there. Real speed. Maybe that's a 50-50 judgment call. I can understand that one.
Yet another key 3rd and long for West Florida. Three-man rush picked up well. Beaudry hits Blake Smith. He is short of a 1st down. And it is decision time or not. A flag was just thrown well after the play, with Beaudry and a couple of defensive linemen near the official, Dwight Niebling. Justin Deason's incensed right now, the A&M Commerce defensive coordinator.
Personal foul, number 65, offense. 15-yard penalty, it's 4th down.
Wow. That is the center, Devin Gibson. Luke, I don't know about that. Yeah, you understand the officials work for player safety. That looked like a flop by Leonard on the back end of that.
And the shove was late. Was it flagrant? I think it was well acted.
Flops are tied at 1 apiece in the 3rd quarter of this soccer stadium. So 47 yards, the kick for Williams. Has the distance. And he got it. Austin Williams curls it in.
Come on, right here, all of us. The whole family.
A 47-yard golazo from the first team all-conference kicker.
Coach said he felt fine inside of 51 around, and boy, he just hooks this one right in. Right off the tee box, right down, up, through the uprights. Coach Pete Shinnick's he can't be pleased with the red zone production because they have not been effective in terms of getting the ball in the red zone and in the end zone, for touchdowns. But his kicking game has produced when he's called upon it. But field goals, as we are on the down stretch of the 3rd quarter here, are not going to win this football game if you're West Florida.
ESPN's NCAA coverage continues with the FCS championship game on January 6th. For more, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Big wins for North Dakota State last night and James Madison today. It will be 1 versus 2 in a rematch of an amazing semifinal game last year that saw James Madison snap the North Dakota State championship streak. So get in front of a television for that one, January 6th, from Frisco at the FCS level. Austin Williams. Smallwood fields it, and a bit of a late break as he reaches out to the 39. So what does it mean, Tom Luginbill, to be a Division II football player as compared to a Division I?
Right, so you've got the 2 levels at the Division I level. You've got the FBS, all right, that's a group of 5 and Power 5 conferences. You've got the FCS and you've got the Division II. Now, when you consider this level here and this level here, those 2 programs, those scholarships are not all or none. They're not full scholarships. They can be split up into books or tuition or meals or what have you, and you're going to spread them throughout your roster, as opposed to the FBS level. That's an 85 scholarship limit, and it's full scholarship, all or nothing. Those scholarships cannot be split up.
Luis Perez, who has part of one of those 36 scholarships, with a handoff to E.J. Thompson, who has run with confidence here in this third quarter.
So you have the 36 scholarships of Division II. So imagine being Colby Carthel. You get the job 5 years ago. You have an 8-day signing class. You visit 93 high schools in 8 days. How do you break that cash up?
I'll tell you one of the ways you do it. You start applying that cash to the premium positions that determine championships. So quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, and then probably corner. You'd start there in terms of your scholarship breakdown and then spread it out. And then, you know, what do you give to this guy versus that guy? Well, do we give this guy meals and books? What do we give this guy, tuition? And how does it all break down? It's got to be fascinating. It's like salary cap for college football.
And it's exactly the comparison that folks have made as Anthony Riles leaves the field. You are playing with the type of limits that you don't see at the upper levels. And Colby Carthel, Paul mentioned it, got the job 5 years ago, had 8 days to sign a class. Said he and his staff went to about 90 high schools, and it was almost as if they walked into a school and said, raise your hand if you want a scholarship.
Yeah, you? Oh, okay, come on, let's go.
And a whole bunch of those players are still here and contributing tonight, including Sean Hooks, who had the first touchdown of the game. Here's a first down run of 4 for E.J. Thompson.
Well, how about number 26, Carandall Hale, the running back that was having a great night? He fumbles on the opening play of the third quarter, and he has been on the sideline ever since. You put the ball on the carpet, you're not going to play for Colby Carthel in this offense.
Thompson, 9 carries, 49 yards. Here is the aforementioned Sean Hooks. Give him 7 yards on first down to the 40 of West Florida. There is the aforementioned Carandall Hale. Those are good numbers. 5.1 average. That's terrific, but he lost a critical fumble.
Yeah, he was having a good night, and they've sat him on the sideline and said that's not championship football, and we're going to go with the hot hand. If you secure the football, you're going to play. If you don't, you're going to be standing next to me.
Thompson with a 9-yard touchdown run in this quarter. In there as part of a jumbo backfield with Smallwood and Hobbs. Perez will fake the run to Hobbs, take a shot on second down and short, and it's reeled in by Wimberly for an A&M Commerce touchdown. 40 yards. Second and short with a full house backfield. A great time to take a shot. Marquise Wimberly with his 6th touchdown of the season, and this is a 2-score game. You've got movement. Poet Thomas is having a rough quarter in terms of staying out of the penalty book.
Ball start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains try for point.
There's Wimberly, who had a 64-yard touchdown called back due to a penalty last week. Nothing stops him from scoring from 40 yards out here. A little bit longer of an extra point for Martinez. No problem.
Well, you take a look at the play action pass in the backfield, and if you get caught peeking, the offense is going streaking. You see Jalen Spencer, number 4, at the corner spot. He's responsible for Wimberly. He's looking inside, thinking it may be run. As Wimberly's running inside, safety's peeking inside as well. You can't play both. Very well executed. That backfield action, Luis Perez knew he had the one-on-one, took advantage, and what a big play. That's the vertical passing game that we haven't seen since the first quarter for Texas A&M Commerce.
That's a pretty good throw if you played high school football.
Yeah, right.
Even better throw if you hadn't, like Luis Perez, who tried out for his team at wide receiver in a run-heavy offense. Well, he didn't try out at wide receiver. That's where the team wanted to put him. He did in high school back at San Diego.
So could there be any bigger contrasting differences in shoes between two sports? Bowling and cleats, right? Bowling and football. I mean, really?
He was late for bowling practices in high school. That's one of the main reasons he gave up football. He was watching the final game of his senior year. He got the bug, and he's got his team up 14 in the national championship, Paul Carcaterra.
Indeed, and you look at the body of work, what he's done the last 2 years at Texas A&M in Commerce, Luis Perez, it's incredible. I mean, we've been documenting this story. He didn't play high school football. He was a great bowler. He did tell me, though, he wanted to put bowling on the shelf and chase his dream because he could play bowling when he is 50 years old. But, Luke, the question I have for you, for a kid who didn't play high school football, you know the quarterback position better than anyone. Break his mechanics down.
You know, it's interesting. We'll take a look here just after this next play, and I'll get right to that.
See what Mike Beaudry has dialed up for West Florida. Nice sidearm delivery here, and a catch made by Kevin Grant. A big play on first down to just shy of midfield.
You know, it's interesting, Paul, because the delivery between Beaudry and Luis Perez is very similar. The ball comes out quick. You've got nice wrist velocity on it. Both release the ball a little bit low. They can change arm angles to suit the throw. Now, you talk to Kobe Carthon, he says the NFL scouts are coming in and they're questioning, you know, his true arm talent. I don't know if I'd question his arm talent and his release as much as I'd question whether he's athletic enough to be able to extend plays if you needed him to.
Oh, big hit. Griffin blown up by Alex Shiloh, the redshirt freshman, and that is an explosive way to finish the third quarter for A&M Commerce. Texas A&M Commerce is 15 minutes away from its first Division II national championship in school history. Luis Perez knows it. The leading receiver tonight is its leading cheerleader. Buck Wilson out with a finger injury, but firing up his Commerce crowd. The Lions 15 minutes away from their first Division II football championship in school history. Second and long for West Florida to begin this fourth quarter here in Kansas City, Kansas. Beaudry pressured off the edge and dropped. Blown up by Brooks Sathoff, the all-conference linebacker.
4 sacks on the night, Sathoff unblocked. And that time the back just doesn't see him. Chris Schwartz, number 40. He goes inside. He's got to take that outside off the edge blitzer. Now that would have been a mismatch, but at least you'd had a body in between him and the quarterback. That's a bust in protection there for West Florida.
Beaudry on third and forever. Needs the Commerce 42. Set up the screen to Chris Schwartz. Schwartz had a shot at it, got across midfield, and sets up a fourth down decision for Pete Shinnick.
I don't think Pete Shinnick's going to punt this football. I think they're going for it. Well, now they're going to make the decision now to change it up.
You agree with this call?
A lot of football to be played here. I actually do.
Paul, what do you got?
You know, gentlemen, based on the way we've seen the kicking in this game, I'm going for it. The punting and the kicking has been less than average.
Well, the one thing we do know is that they have shanked the ball considerably, so we know the ball's at least going to go out of bounds, I think, for West Florida.
Well, this may be Rafai's best one of the night, and it's a fair catch made by Hooks at his own 12-yard line. So a punt of 36, no return. The Argonauts need to make a stand on defense. breaks the tackle and nearly broke it for more. Thompson has been terrific in this second half. He picks up 9 on first down.
I really like the blend and the balance between run to pass that this offense has shown here in the second half. They put the faith in their offensive line, a big, experienced unit, bigger than most units at the Division II level. And this is an offense, again, that is, throw first, throw second, throw third. They've made some adjustments, and I think they've made the right calls by adding some balance here tonight.
Back on the ground to Thompson. He gets the yard needed and more. Hit across the 25. 5 tough yards for the young man out of Cypress, Texas. 5'9", but a solid 200-pound true freshman playing here in this national championship.
Jordan Smith, 77, limping off the field there, the big offensive tackle. Brian Taylor, 72, comes in to take his spot. And listen, if I'm Texas A&M Commerce, I'm controlling the line of scrimmage here on this drive. I'm going to run the football until West Florida dictates otherwise, because this has been all ground and pound. I wouldn't deviate from it.
And they snap it with only 3 on the play clock, and Thompson bulldozes his way to the 45.
Fourth quarter, just what the doctor ordered. Luke, you mentioned they're going to run the ball. Look at the size of these linemen. Jordan Smith, 6'4", 315. Poet Thomas, 6'6", 325. DeAndre Shaw, 6'5", 320. With the lead, with the backs that are churning, this is going to be tough for West Florida to answer the bell in regard to the punch that this offensive line is giving them. This is a Division I size offensive line. A guy like Poet Thomas started his career at Texas Tech.
Yeah, and you know what, Paul? Really, when West Florida was taking advantage defensively was when Texas A&M Commerce was trying to throw the football. And they haven't had an answer to stop the run game, and Commerce Lions have figured it out.
Timeout, A&M Commerce. First charge, 30 seconds in length.
Play clock was down to 1, so Colby Carthel takes a timeout. Texas A&M Commerce was 5-26 in the 3 seasons before Cody Carthel took over, and he told us last night, I walked into our first team meeting, we had 87 guys. By the end of that year's camp, or at least a little boot camp that he ran for a couple of weeks, they had dropped from 87 to fewer than 35. He rode these kids pretty hard.
Weeding them out.
And he's got the kids he wants right now in a 14-point lead as we go to Chris Cotter in the studio. Chris? Championship Saturday. Thank you, Chris. Right down the road at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. Back on the ground for Thompson. 4 more yards on first down. And about 35 seconds are coming off on every play.
You know, I want to go back to what we were talking about with Colby Carthel, the head coach at Texas A&M Commerce, and his way of laying out the blueprint and sending the message to the players that they started with, how this program is going to be run. And he let the environment of competition weed itself out. He didn't have to do it. The process was laid out in front of him. The kids that chose to work and chose to stay were there in the end, and the ones that didn't want to were not. He said, hey, they're all great kids. They're good kids, but just maybe this wasn't the right place for them. And now you look at the results over the last 5 years that those kids that chose to stay, what they've been able to handle and what they've been able to create for this program.
Got a third down coming up. Thompson lost the football late. He was ruled down, and Thompson is going to limp off this field, which means we'll see Crandall Hale for the first time since he lost a fumble.
And that was the first play of the third quarter.
Texas A&M Commerce has not thrown the ball on this drive. Perez will throw it here, get Hooks on the screen, hurdles over his own man. Sean Hooks, another big-time play. Hooks down to the 6. Boy, is that kid explosive.
Nice little token fake off the zone, come back to the tunnel screen underneath. And this is what Hooks did in the first quarter as well. When they get the ball into his hands, he turns on the jets and he creates explosive plays. And most of the explosive plays outside of one have come from behind the line of scrimmage throws from Luis Perez and this Texas A&M Commerce offense. And that's just an athletic mismatch in space between a safety and Trent Archie, number 24, who gave great effort, but he's no match for Hooks in the open field.
It was his left tackle, Jared Machora, that was on the ground. Hooks hurdled away from him, and a flag stops this play.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Commerce completely changed its personnel there. They brought in the backup Gabe Rodriguez, who's the running quarterback, as part of what they call the truck package, and Rodriguez and company will truck back off the field.
Yeah, Gabe Rodriguez was actually here before Luis Perez transferred in, and he's been the ultimate team guy. They want to try and get him meaningful reps, so they've given him a little bit of a goal line inside the +8 or +5 package, and unfortunately a penalty negates that opportunity.
First and goal from the 11. Running back is Thompson once again. Just want to hang onto the football and keep the body moving forward now. This clock under 9 minutes and continuing to move for Commerce.
You know, Paul mentioned it earlier, but this is a really athletic offensive line for Texas A&M Commerce. Those guards, the two guards, particularly 77, Jordan Smith, they pull them around. These kids can move. Malik Ellis, number 71, you see there at right tackle. They're long, tall, they're athletic, good body types.
Ellis was a part of that 8-day signing class, and Cody Carthel took over this program. Thompson again, down to the 5 and a push forward. Poet Thomas with an extra 2 yards on the shove. And now here comes the truck package with Gabe Rodriguez for this 3rd and goal. Bring in a couple of extra tight ends. Corey Smallwood into the game. Rodriguez has 5 rushing touchdowns on the year on 21 carries, and they've got 4 players to the right, Lukes. Rodriguez will throw left. He had Smallwood. It's incomplete.
But did you see who the players were to the right? It was half the offensive line.
Choro was over there. 74, Thomas 79.
Oh, they had exactly what they wanted. Got to come out of the break a little bit there better if you're Corey Smallwood. I think Rodriguez is trying to throw him open a little bit more instead of just sticking the ball right on him. Come into the game, it's hard. You haven't thrown the football. It's a little bit of a chilly night, and opening snap is a throw.
Now this would still make it a 3-score game, and Martinez is automatic. What a night for him. 3 for 3 field goals, 4 for 4 extra points. Texas A&M Commerce can smell it. 7:41 away from their first national championship in D2 history. We are here in Kansas City, Kansas tonight. At Children's Mercy Park, the home of Sporting Kansas City. Texas A&M Commerce has made it feel like home. A 10-play, 86-yard drive spanning 5 minutes and 34 seconds, and the Lions lead by 17 midway through the 4th in the Division II National Championship. Well, it's a championship Saturday, and we'll take it to the studio now. Chris Cotter has more on that. Chris, we'll go from KC to KC, Kansas to Missouri. Florida looking for its first championship, as you said. We have a couple of teams, one of them from Florida, looking for championship number 1 tonight. Commerce has only won an NAIA football championship. That was 45 years ago. West Florida with its back to the wall. Second year of football in this program's history, and they need 3 scores. Beaudry looking for Griffin, and here comes a flag. Chris Smith in on the coverage.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's what happens when a ball's underthrown. This is to Antoine Griffin. You're either going to have a catch or a pass interference, and that's exactly what that ball led to in terms of where the ball was thrown. He throws this ball to the outside. Antoine Griffin's got a chance to get to the football, but by making the adjustment, played right into the pass interference call.
Rush of 5. Beaudry flips it out in a single coverage, and he hit Edwards Cooper in the back. Another one that was underthrown from Mike Beaudry.
And he had forced Ashley out of bounds. He would have had to come back in and reestablish, and there's nowhere to go with the football. This was what Texas A&M Commerce does best on defense. They press you, they get in your face, they reroute you, and they force you to throw the football into the tiniest of windows. And a lot of guys are going to complete mini passes against coverage like that.
Even though you failed to hire me all those years ago, you really do know what you're talking about.
A&M Commerce, one of the top pass defenses in the Lone Star Conference, and terrific tonight. This is into triple coverage. Griffin nearly got it too.
Starts off just being a one-on-one corner route, but the safety gets off the hash over the top. You see right there closing in late, and that very well could have been made as a catch. You know, we've seen Antoine Griffin tonight make so many spectacular grabs over the middle of the field, but this defense has taken away the middle and forced them to go outside and haven't been anywhere near as successful in the second half here.
3rd and 10. Is this 4-down territory at this point for West Florida?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
You got to play it right. You don't need all 10 here. You have to be thinking big picture.
Yep.
Beaudry. A lot of contact there, and a flag is thrown way back behind the line of scrimmage where Beaudry was hit. Tate Litio was covered by Brent Walker, but that's not where the flag came in.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 36, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
We really don't want to be stopping. We can always go back and look at it later. It's sort of like what antitrust does after the fact. Right now, they're getting into an area
that's an easy call against Michael Wallace.
Yep.
necessarily going to be that they're going to be wiping out other.
And West Florida's moved the ball on this drive because of 2 15-yard penalties. You look at the penalties right now, and Commerce, one of the most penalized teams in the nation, has had over 100 yards. Penalties and turnovers have been big pluses for West Florida. Everything else has gone the way of the Lions. Beaudry just cannot get away tonight. Crunched and sacked for a loss of 4. D.D. Fletcher was in from his nose guard position.
5 sacks on the night now for this defense for Texas A&M Commerce. And, well, you know, what do we always talk about with championship teams? I don't care who it is in the country, at what level. You talk to a coordinator, they're going to tell you, if we can control the line of scrimmage with 4 men, if we can rush the passer with 4, if we can stop the runner with 4, tonight the Lions have done it with 3 on many occasions, dropping 8. Been a wonderful effort defensively.
Fletcher, the nose guard, got through a double team. Beaudry flips out here for Litio. Another difficult catch attempt. Another ball in a wide receiver's hands. Tough one to make with Chris Smith in coverage.
And that was actually a pretty well thrown ball, Kevin.
Sure was.
There wasn't a lot of room for error there. He dropped it right in the basket. And now you're stuck with a 3rd and 14 coming up.
This is a West Florida team that did not exist a couple of years ago, except on paper. And now it's the intention to begin football in 2011. Hired Pete Shinnick in 2014. A recruiting class the next year. Actual games last year, they went 5-6. This Cinderella run is in some jeopardy. Griffin with the adjustment. That is a heck of a play by Antoine Griffin.
He's been the go-to guy, but he's also been shut out for most of the second half because of the defensive adjustments made by Texas A&M Commerce. Once again, 2 defenders, and Mark Westbrook, 28, comes over. You see him try and take the ball late. Safety comes over the top, and Dominic Ramsey, number 17. And boy, I tell you, number 7 isn't very big. As you see the coaches, Coach Justin Deason there on your right, the defensive coordinator, Corby Carthel, the head coach, concerned on the sideline for the Lions.
After the 38-yard pass, Beaudry will take it underneath, and a good hit low by Dominic Ramsey, drilling Karan Ashley. Great open field tackle by the redshirt freshman Ramsey, and time is not on West Florida's side right now.
Yeah, they need to have a sense of urgency here and get moving. They don't need the quarterback, Beaudry, to be running all the way to the sideline to get to the play. They've got to get moving. This ball needs to get in the end zone.
Griffin in the slot left. A couple of defenders are over there. Beaudry over the middle, short of the goal line to Blake Smith.
Well, he's short of the goal line and he's short of the line to gain for a first down, so that clock's going to continue to run here. 3 timeouts left for West Florida. They don't want to have to use these right now. But they got to get this ball in the end zone. And again, taking way too much time is Mike Beaudry, the quarterback, for West Florida to walk almost to the opposite hash to try and get a call. They've got to be more efficient here.
3rd and 2, you can get a first down without a touchdown. Schwartz will barrel his way to the goal line and score. 2nd touchdown of the night for Chris Schwartz comes from 3 yards out. That's what's on the line. Be the first time either of these 2 universities will hoist that trophy, the Division II National Championship. And West Florida has life. 3 timeouts and a 10-point deficit. A near 3-minute drive punctuated with a Chris Schwartz touchdown. The Argonauts are still breathing. The Division II National Championship comes to you tonight from Kansas City, Kansas. 4 minutes, 45 seconds remaining between now and likely a champion. West Florida wouldn't mind getting this game to overtime after the Chris Schwartz touchdown. And you wonder what the Argonauts are going to do here. They have Schwartz and Griffin and a whole bunch of skill position players right now standing at the 30-yard line, which would make you think an onside kick could be in the cards.
Now think their logic here. Ever since they gave up that kick return for a touchdown, they've pooch kicked and placed this ball and have kicked the ball short the entire night. So even if they miss out on this attempted, here we go.
Letio faked it. Now it'll be taken by Williams. Got to bounce off a Commerce player, and the Lions will keep it.
Wow.
In and out of the hands of Chachi Lucci, the junior wide receiver.
And you get the bounce. You get the second bounce that you want here, right there. Oh. I mean, the chances of that not only hitting the player and then having that same player recover it.
Near disaster.
Oh, man.
As it turns out, Colby does love Chachi.
No way that's better than my winter lager on
no
Sam
chance.
Adams.
Just try to get to your...
I like it. I like it. Now we just got to get you to see Kingpin, the bowling of Caddyshack.
I'm going to watch the director's commentary version.
Ask Chris Cotter. We'll toss it to him. He'll tell you.
We'll get to Chris after this. First down run for E.J. Thompson. All right, Chris Cotter, what do you got for us?
Timeout. West Florida.
Oh, Chris, thank you, man. He hasn't, my man Kevin Brown hasn't even seen Kingpin.
But okay,
He should be thrown in prison.
What's the second greatest bowling movie? Like, that's a pretty small bar to
Because
clear.
you don't make another one. Just like you don't mess with Animal House 2.
There's another Godfather, though.
Yeah, now you're talking about art.
Timeout taken by West Florida. Listen, the reason we got into bowling in the first place, okay, is that kid, Luis Perez, didn't play high school football, Paul Carcaterra, because he was too good of a bowler.
Kevin, strike on you. I mean, you're calling a Luis Perez game this week and you don't watch Kingpin. You probably haven't seen Caddyshack or Fletch either.
That is not true. Look, not true.
Look, the fact of the matter is, though, here, this is the guy you want in this spot, Lugs. You know the quarterback position better than anything. As we see Luis Perez showing his stuff as a bowler. You want him as a quarterback right now, Lugs.
Look at this. Wait.
And he knew it right away.
Oh, my gosh. That is awesome.
That is a no-look, reverse between the legs, 5-10 split. So, yeah, maybe he's thrown for 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, completed 69% of his passes in the Division II playoffs. All right, that's all fine and good. That was awesome.
That was like a long snap in bowling.
Yeah.
Second charge, 30 seconds in length.
We have a timeout taken by West Florida and an injured Argonaut. That is Austin Dukes, who's recovered a fumble tonight on his back with the helmet off.
He's obviously in pain. He's made a lot of plays tonight on defense.
It's good to see Duke sitting up. Young man who's a sophomore out of Union County in Florida. And has made an impact on that defensive line tonight. And Austin will be helped to his feet. It's a West Florida team that has had such a strong defensive line presence this year. Dukes with 3 sacks. They had 47 coming into the game. They really picked up the pass rush toward the end of this season in this epic run to the Division II championship. And Austin will be checked on here with 4:31 to go and a timeout remaining. When you dial up here, it'll be a pass, it looks like, with 5 receivers for Perez. Luis Perez on the run, and that is incomplete. Nice coverage on the play by Jamel Jackson against Marquise Wimberly.
Not so sure he wouldn't have been better off getting what he could, staying in bounds and getting down. Because now you stop the clock. You don't force West Florida to use a timeout. That was one of the few plays tonight that maybe a better decision could have been made there by Luis Perez. And they're talking to him about it right now on the sideline.
How strongly are you going after this punt?
Well, it's tough when it's tough against this type of alignment.
Yeah.
Because you've got to account for people downfield. Now you might see a little something.
Now here's the kick. It's away cleanly from Perry, and it's fielded at the 10 by Griffin. West Florida at its own 10, 1 timeout, and down 2 scores. West Florida football with just over 4 minutes remaining in the Division II National Championship. I think this is an insurmountable hole to climb. West Florida didn't have a football team 2 years ago. This is nothing. 90 yards to go for a touchdown. A field goal does keep them in it, though. The Argonauts down 2 scores with a timeout in the shadow of their own end zone. Mike Beaudry in the face of some pressure, and the pressure got to him there as he had Kevin Grant over the middle.
See that edge pressure? It's just been difficult to block. That's That's the 12th pressure applied by Texas A&M on defense tonight on quarterback Mike Beaudry, and it has just been difficult to have a clean pocket and get the ball off in rhythm when you're under duress for most of the evening.
Beaudry 21 for 43 in the game. Sets up the screen to Schwartz. This could be a big one. Got past a tackler down inside his own 40-yard line or across it to the 43. 33 yards for Schwartz, who juked Alex Shiloh out of the way.
Yeah, number 10, Alex Shiloh, misses his tackle, doesn't break down in space. He overruns it. You see that right there. And how do you slow down the pass rush you've had a difficult time handling all night long? Well, set him up and throw the screen underneath.
Schwartz with 44 yards receiving, 45 rushing in the game. Beaudry got a nice block from his running back Johnson. Griffin slipped, though, coming back to get to the football.
Yeah, he struggled coming out of his break there, slipped and went down. Mark Westbrook, 28th of safety. That's a mismatch. That's safety. The 5'11", 195-pounder versus Griffin, who's small and wiry and ultra quick.
There they are right there. It looks like they're going to be locked up again. Westbrook, who starts technically at Sam linebacker, but essentially plays nickel against Griffin in the slot right. Beaudry. Griffin's down the field. Beaudry doesn't go his way because of some double coverage. Goes underneath this time, and it is intercepted. DJ White took it away for Texas A&M Commerce.
Early on the field is interceptions. First down, A&M Commerce.
Keaston Carter, 58, applying the pressure. Forces right there through the B gap between the guard and the tackle, forcing Beaudry to get out of the pocket. He just throws this low. Durant White, 22, goes down low to make the grab. Secures the football, gets both hands underneath it, it looks like here.
I don't know.
Might and should get reviewed. See if that ball touches the ground. I think it did, Kevin.
Whirling on the field is an interception. The previous play is under further review.
Then take a look right here. Now, the ball is allowed to touch the ground during the action of the catch if you've secured the football. I don't think this ball's been secured completely. I don't think he has fulfilled the action of the catch before the ball touches. What do you think, Kevin?
I think I'd like to see one more look. Let's see if this one tells us something here from DJ White.
I think it's
I don't know. I'm with you.
look.
I think that initial look's the best. I think the ball
right
might
here
be aided into the hands by the ground here. There's a little push off with the ground. Now, of course, the ruling on the field, that has to be said, was an interception, so
right.
You do need indisputable evidence to overturn.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. I think this is a tough call, but I see the ball hit the ground, and I don't know if both hands have gotten underneath that football enough. And again, and that's why we get into the language when they come back as to whether it stands or if the call is confirmed. They may just come back and say this one stands because they can't necessarily confirm either way.
Dwight Niebling, our referee, is on the headset. We're going to take one more look.
See, I think the faster you look at that, as opposed to slow motion, the clearer it is that it touched the ground. The slower you look at it gives you more of, I think, an illusion that you may have secured it, but when you look at it pretty quickly.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground for an incomplete pass.
Yep, I think that's a good call.
3rd and 10 from the 43-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 43 seconds.
Well, nothing more than
on the game clock.
the national championship on the line here, and
3-4-4.
if that ball is a confirmed interception, West Florida is all but done.
Yep.
So the Argonauts continue to stave off elimination. Now they have a 3rd and 10, but they have the football.
Well, in all likelihood, they're going to have to use their final timeout on this drive and then score no matter what. Then the question is going to be, how can they hang on without being able to stop the clock thereafter?
Third down and 10 for West Florida. Argonauts at their own 43.
Correction. Please reset the game clock to 3-3-8.
And Dwight Niemann's going to take 6 seconds off the clock before this third down play.
Thank you.
Late pressure picked up. Beaudry over the middle, incomplete. Coverage on the play by Jalen Edwards-Cooper against Karan Ashley.
Well, that has been a matchup all night long, and it has been a tightly contested one as well. Edwards-Cooper, 27, you see there. We've seen an awful lot of that escort you into the dance with the hands on the hips there from Edwards-Cooper all night long, and these officials have decided to let these guys play. They're going to have some contact. They're going to let them fight for the football.
4th down and perhaps the season for West Florida. Beaudry pressured, steps away, down the field he goes, and Grant had the football but lost it. Oh, he nearly snatched it away for West Florida.
He goes up, and what a tremendous effort. And he thinks he's off to the races. Oops, I forgot something. Kevin Grant goes up and high points this football. And his coach, Pete Shinnick, on the sideline is talking him through it right now. Just disappointed. There's an opportunity to make a play, and he was off to the races, Kevin.
He had found his way past Edwards-Cooper and Ramsey. A&M Commerce will go right back to the ground in Thompson. West Florida only has 1 timeout, and it won't use it here. Folks, don't forget you want to tune into ESPN 3 after the game for the post-game trophy ceremony immediately following this national championship. At the moment, it seems it'll be Commerce's. It's certainly theirs to lose, although this game has featured quite a few twists and turns. First down might all but ice it. Back to the ground, and Thompson fighting his way forward, and he'll be stood up 2 yards shy of a first down. Tonight on SportsCenter at 11:30 Eastern on ESPN. A deep dive into the AFC playoff picture. The Chargers and Chiefs just down the road with a Saturday night showdown. We'll hear from Carmelo Anthony on his return to New York. And the best of the best, the top 10 plays from college football this season. SportsCenter 11:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Take a look at this West Florida football team. Obviously disappointed to come this far, win 4 straight road games for the Argonauts just in their second year of football at any level. Their head coach Pete Shinnick, their staff down there outside of Pensacola, Florida, building something that's going to be a lot of fun. You've got a great recruiting base. You know, interesting, we talked this week, Kevin, with Coach Shinnick about how they're going to recruit guys that they know they can't get. Establish relationships, so when that player does go on somewhere else, if things don't work out, they know they've got a place to come to. I think it's been really smart. They've already had several guys bounce back at Central Florida, South Florida, some FCS programs, and playing for them now. That's a smart move in recruiting for long-term success.
Got his daughter on the sideline next to him, Rachel. She takes notes when Pete will verbalize his thoughts on the plays to her. The Shinnick family was happy to make this move to Pensacola. It's been a magical run, and it looks like it might come to an end right here. E.J. Thompson, after the final West Florida timeout, has a first down, and Colby Carthel knows just how close he is to tasting victory.
No, I asked Colby Carthel, the head coach at Texas A&M this week, I said, given your footprint, what you've accomplished, are there any administrative goals towards moving this program up to the FCS level? He said, absolutely not. We have a motto around here. It's called best in class. We want to be the best there is in our class of division year in and year out, not just compete for the conference championship, compete for national championships.
The ruling on the field was a first down. The previous play is under further review.
The officials are going to look at the spot, considering that this would effectively end the game if confirmed as a first down.
A little surprised at this call right here. I understand the timing of it, the importance of it. There was a pretty clear line to gain right there, and also very, very clear that they more than secured the first down. I just don't know if this is a necessary review.
Line to gain was the 33. Nothing you would see on that first replay there would indicate otherwise. And the picture tells 1,000 words here. Antoine Griffin on the sideline for West Florida.
He's got a nice game tonight. As we take another look at where you've got to get this first down, that's a first down. I don't see the need. You see the official coming in for his spot. It's an unnecessary stoppage of the game.
It's going to be kneel down time once this is confirmed, as we assume it will be, for Texas A&M Commerce, a school that has never won a national championship in football in Division II.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Colby Carthel and Luis Perez. They made the drive up here from Commerce, Texas, a small town about an hour east of Dallas. And they have turned Kansas City into an honorary Commerce for the weekend. And the folks here are going to get a trophy pretty shortly. Here's the first kneel down for Perez. And we're in the waiting game now for Texas A&M Commerce.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, this crowd from Commerce has brought it. They've been really loud. They've had the energy from the first whistle. It's a 490-mile drive back to Commerce, but every single one of them will have a smile on their face. And let me tell you what, the players here, Lugs, you mentioned in the beginning of this game, this is a championship game. It doesn't matter if it's Division I, Division II, Division III. These guys have been together, a lot of them for 4 or 5 years, have sweated it out each and every fall camp. The stakes are as high as they possibly can for this type of athletes, as the coach feels it right now.
Yeah, you see the Gatorade dunk, and Coach Carthel throws the Gatorade jug up in the air, and you're right, Pa. I don't care what anybody says. It's hard to win a national championship. It's hard to get to the playoffs, let alone have to win 3 or 4 games on the road to get there and then come to Kansas City and beat a good West Florida team. They turned the ball over 4 times and are going to win this game by 10 points.
It's time for one more knee. from the best player in Division II football this year, Luis Perez. Not a down of high school football. He's a national champion. Colby Carthel and the Texas A&M Commerce Lions, national champions in Division II. The two architects of this run, coach and quarterback, their first Division II title in school history. What a run for both of these teams. The trophy will reside in Commerce, Texas. 37-27, your final score for Paul Carcaterra, for Tom Luginbill, our entire crew. This is Kevin Brown. Good night from Kansas City, Kansas. Let's send you to Kansas City, Missouri, the Sprint Center, and the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. Paul Sutherland, Karch Garai,